You're listening to Ernestly Speaking, the only weekly podcast that covers friends, foes, and anything that goes. And now, for your badass host, Ernest Owens. And we're back for another episode of Ernestly Speaking with your host, Ernest Owens, myself. Well, this is the time of the year where I guess everyone's getting ready for the holidays. Even though I don't really feel like this year, I think since the election, that the holiday spirit and all of its essence is where it used to be. You know, I feel like there is a lot of marketing that's trying to fake the funk, but everyone kind of feels this vibe of like, yeah, it's the holidays, but it doesn't really feel exactly like the holidays. Like, it kind of seemed like Thanksgiving came up on us and there's already Christmas and all these holiday parties. But like, I'm not fully like super into the holiday spirit as much. I think some of it is connected to the election, but also I just feel like a lot of it has been kind of forced. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like the older I get, especially now, I sense that a lot of this stuff is just forced. Like, some stuff just doesn't make sense. And then some stuff just feels played out, if that makes sense. I think for anything, I am excited about Thanksgiving, about the food and eating and being with friends. But I'm not really like all the extra stuff. I'm just not like super crazy about. Like, oh, what is it? Like going to so-and-so holiday pop-ups. I just feel like a lot of that's just, I don't know. I feel like it's played out. Some of it is. Like a lot of these holiday pop-ups is like, maybe because I do it a lot and I'm in media, I'm so used to going to these events like every year that I'm kind of like, what are you doing different this year? Like for real. Not like, oh, we're going to have this, tree lighting with this ornament, like something that feels different. And I feel like a lot of stuff is being like super played out. But then there's another side of me that also kind of feels like with some of these marketers and PR people was like, can y'all read the room? Like the type of people that would be spending money and going to this stuff are not the people that is in that mood right now because they're too busy thinking about what's about to come in 2025. That's already here, technically, with all these appointments. But I just feel like there's a different, mood shift for various reasons. So I'm excited about Thanksgiving for the catered food. Shout out to Miss Dawn. Shout out to Cake Life, Cake Life Bake Shop, because they have really, if you don't know how to bake a pie or you don't feel like baking a pie, Cake Life Bake Shop is for you. They have some really great pies and cakes and situations going on over there that I rely on because it's not that I don't know how to cook. Let me just start off right there. Let me get y'all together. I do know how to cook, but I don't feel like sometimes you just don't feel like cooking a long meal like that. Like Thanksgiving, Christmas, any type of holiday type of cooking, like Easter or something. Like, Easter I'll do. I feel like Easter is manageable. Either myself or Mr. Johnson will do Easter. Like, I feel like that's a manageable holiday situation. But when it comes to big situations like Christmas, Thanksgiving, things like that, I feel like you have to want to do that. Like, you have to be excited. And how excited are you? You're the excited where you have already been preparing. Like, what? You're listening to this on a Monday, Thanksgiving's on a Thursday. You should already begin prepping like right now. Like stuff should already be like right now. I would say on a Monday, you should be getting garnishes and all that kind of stuff together. Your groceries were already, you've gotten everything. Your turkey is beginning to defrost because we know that you don't defrost a turkey the night before Thanksgiving because the turkey's supposed to be brined and stuffed and all that stuff the day before. Anyway, because some of you all, I'm in my bag. Let me start with this. If you are an elected official and you are giving out frozen turkeys the day before Thanksgiving, somebody tell them why this is wrong. Who's going to tell them? Okay. Because if this family's in need, which, we should be giving to families in need. We shouldn't be giving to committee people and ward leaders that already have turkeys because they already got money. They got enough street money off this election, I hear. So they should already have a turkey. But if you're giving to families in need, technically, and you actually want them to be able to, make a Thanksgiving dinner with the turkey that you gave them. If you've given them a huge frozen butterball turkey the night before Thanksgiving, what's that? How's that going to work? Yes, for people who cook, and know how this works, you need to be having your frozen turkey out days before. Like, you should be defrosting the turkey around this time, actually. If you didn't know this and you just found this out, you're welcome. But you should be defrosting your turkey, like, right now. Like, if you're listening to this podcast, you should be thinking about when you're going to take that turkey out in the next couple hours. You should not be having the turkey out the day before. Like, no, baby. Not a six. This is why we have this podcast. It's my job not to make you look bad, because you might be thinking this year is your first year of trying to cook. And this happens all the time. And people will message me privately and say, good looking out. Because some guy decided that he wanted to step up and do some, deep dish. Oh my goodness. A deep fried turkey. And first of all, I'm from the South. So if you're doing a deep fried turkey, first of all, there's levels to that. And I don't feel like the East Coast knows what they're doing when it comes to deep fried turkeys. Don't do it. It's not, this is a very serious thing. And I see a lot of people play around with these turkeys. Like, it's just like, oh, don't play with, if you don't know if you've never done it before, don't try it from somebody else. Don't try to do it yourself. Just don't. Like, this is not the time to be experimental. There's been a lot of experiments with our democracy, with voting, with, a lot of experiments this year. I think we're done with experiments this year. I think this needs to be the time where you stick to the basics and use common sense. For as long as it lasts, use common sense. So if you have not done a deep fried turkey, either try one from somebody who actually has done it multiple times. Multiple times in this conversation means more than 3 times. The first time it was not good. The second time it was all right. The third time they probably knew what they were doing. And the fourth time it should be up to speed. So I don't do deep fried turkeys in the East Coast because most of the people that I know who try to do it, they just fail. And it's just an epic fail. And then you're sitting around eating sides all day because it's a situation that you weren't ready for. So I always tell people, don't get too experimental when it comes to that. Now, as far as hosting and things go, I am doing my own Thanksgiving situation with my very small number of special guests because, it's what I've been doing. I haven't gone home for Thanksgiving. Ooh, it's been a minute. I think we haven't really gone home. Well, I have not gone home for Thanksgiving probably since I graduated from undergrad. So it's been about 10 years. I don't, because, Mr. Johnson's family, they live in, Jersey. So they're closer and my folks live in Houston. So we do Christmas, the holidays with my folks. And then we used to do Thanksgiving with his folks in Jersey. Now, I want to say since the pandemic, we've been hosting Thanksgiving at our place. And it's been a cute, thing. And now that my younger brother, who's, at Temple, he doesn't go home for Thanksgiving because he does Thanksgiving with us because we was just like that trip between going home for 48 hours, if that, you go for the day before Thanksgiving. If you have a professor that lets you leave before Thanksgiving, right? Because I'm teaching Mondays and Wednesdays, and CCP has it where we're literally teaching the day before Thanksgiving. So my students will literally have to skip class to go wherever they're going. I have to teach though, which I'm not at all upset about because I'm staying in Philly. I'm not leaving or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm teaching in the afternoon. My classes are done at 1:00. So I'm chilling. I'm cool with that. But some of my students, I don't know. They might be like, they might actually skip. I don't know. We'll see what the energy is giving. But I kind of let them know that this Monday, that class was in session and they need to come because I wasn't going to roll the dice with everything that was going on and be like, okay, come see you Wednesday. I'll tell you about your big assignment, your finals. I'll tell you details about it on a Wednesday when I know like maybe half that class won't be there. I mean, hopefully I'll come. We'll see. But I'm gonna do a lot of my major information on Monday in class. And then Wednesday, who's there will recap all that good stuff. But I'm not gonna test it because I just have a sense that some of them might still be like whatever. And then next Monday is my final in-person class. So this semester wrapped up pretty fast. I'm kind of like, ooh, this really not bad, CCP. I taught 2 classes this semester. I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm like, okay, we did that. Like we made it work. An asynchronous course in person. It was manageable. These students, I will say, now that we are at the end of the semester, they were pretty sufficient. Pretty sufficient, maybe, let me see. As an overall, pretty sufficient, but there were definitely a lot of them that really did their big one. I was really impressed. That's what I'll say. But we are not done with the final project at their assignments. I don't do any final exams. I'm hoping that as long as I teach, I don't have to do like any like final exams because I am the type of professor where I'm like, give me a paper, give me a project, let me grade it. When we're done, we're done. Like, I don't want to stretch this no further than that. At least for me. Like, I don't, but that was also the other thing is I don't teach like a science, math type of course where there's multiple choice involved. You have to really take an exam where I can put it through the Scantron and ding. Like these are writing based classes, presentation type class. Like these are like English, arts, communication. So it's like I don't really need them to take an actual like quiz or anything like that. Or like a final exam like of that nature. So they have final projects that they've been working on. And I feel like to me, that's the better way to grade them because it's going to, culminate all of their skills, all of the stuff that they've learned over the past semester. And they're going to take these skills and the things I've taught them, they're going to put it into one big thing that gives them an opportunity to, showcase what they know, and make the best grade they can. And if they make an attempt, a really strong attempt, and they do their thing, there's no way that they can fail. They should fail if they really actually submit something. But if they just don't do anything, then, and we're in this era now where I don't know, maybe I don't recall when I was in school, but we're in an era now where there are students who just don't do anything. They just don't submit anything. I'm just like, you just didn't even attempt to do anything. Like you knew this was a major grade and you just did not submit anything. I don't know what that looks like. I've never not done an assignment. Let me just put it that way. Like I always did something. Even if it wasn't my absolute best, I put my goddamn foot forward. Like at least I tried, made an attempt. You know what I'm saying? But like some of these students just don't do anything. They just be like, yeah, I didn't do it. Who's ever paying for their tuition, listen, that's all I'm going to say. I couldn't. And if it's even if it's full ride, you should even feel even worse, in my opinion. I feel like if you are getting some serious scholarship money, there were people who raised money for you to get the quality of the education you've gotten and for you not to do anything. Like that's how I felt when I was in school. Like when I was at Penn, I was on a full ride. I didn't pay any tuition. I always felt like throughout that entire time that I need to be even, I need to do the best I could do because a group of people worked their asses off, made donations, gave up personal money, whatever they had, right, to put into an institution that gave me an opportunity to, have the life that I have today, partially, right? Not all of it, but partially. Educate. It made a big difference. I'll say that. I was afforded an education and an experience that allowed me to have the network of friends I have, to have, to be connected to a man who would eventually become my husband, right? Like all of that came from that experience that was afforded to me. Not one that I came out of my pocket for. One that I clearly earned through my wits and my talent, because, meritocracy over here, baby, right? But that experience was not free. It was financially free for me, but it was not free. Something, somewhere, someone paid for it. And so for that mindset, my gratitude to doing the best that I could do to really maximize and taking advantage of that experience did not go for granted. And I was fortunate enough to see my donors, who was a Black couple, the Chisholms, who husband Melvin Chisholm and the wife, both of them went to Penn. Melvin went to Penn undergrad. The wife, Gloria Chisholm, she went and got an honorary degree. But they are a Black couple that are like Penn royalty. Melvin passed away, but the wife is still alive. But they were the ones who funded the endowment that funded my ability to get my education at Penn. So for a lot of racist folks who I've encountered back in the day that would say, oh, whenever I talked about racism, they would try to throw up, oh, this, white people pay for you to go to Penn. It's like, actually, no, my donors are Black, but that's not the point either way, right? That's not even the point. But, are you trying to imply something? What are you trying to say? Or did you make that assumption because you just thought there were no Black folks that made out of Penn, that made money, that put enough money into the institution to pay for Black kids to go? Oh, you didn't know that. Oh, that's cute. Well, either way, fuck you. So that's, knowing their experience, specifically Melvin, because Melvin's story I think about a lot, where he went to medical school. And when he went to Penn, first of all, Penn didn't even have women's school until the 60s. Women were not even allowed to go to the University of Pennsylvania until the 60s, like integrated. Melvin, as a Black student at Penn, at the time in which he went, they had him outside of a classroom. He wasn't even inside the actual physical classroom. He was taking certain classes. They would have a whole lecture hall, and they would have his seat and his seat outside of the classroom. He would have to hear the lecture from outside the actual physical space. And yet he was able to, with all of the fucked up barriers that segregation and racism and all of that did, he was able to hear and get his notes and still graduate. And so no one should have that experience. That experience is the fact that he even cares enough to donate, the compassion that man had, it will always remind me, there's things in life, I know things can be so much better in certain areas, of course, but I'm just reminded of if this man could go to school, at a school like that, and be told you can't even sit in the classroom physically. You have to have your seat outside of the room, and you have to hear them talk and take your notes to still perform, to still graduate, and to get the degree. Then for those people who say, oh, I'm skipping class, oh, I'm I don't care, whatever, and you think you're proving something to the professor, you better guess again. And so I'm just reminded of those moments when there's times when I feel like, oh, I don't want to do this, or what's the point of doing that, or whatever the case is. I'm reminded of that. And I say, you know what? Let me put this in perspective. Yes, my frustrations are valid. I'm not saying people's feelings are not valid. But what I do say is, I don't get in the business of saying this is the worst thing ever, because it can actually be worse. And some of the people that paved the way for you to have this had it far worse. And so I never get into the business of censoring myself so much that I think everything is the worst thing ever. This is the worst. No, I will just say, you know what? This is fucked up. But you know what? Is there a way? Is there a will? Is there a way? And if there's people who found bigger wills and bigger ways in worse circumstances, then who am I to act like there isn't a possibility right now? Yes, be frustrated, be pissed off. You are valid to have that. But don't get so caught up in the sense of being like, don't put a declarative on it. Don't act like it is the total end compared to retrospect of other people who have crossed many, many rivers, mouths, lakes, and everything else to get to a certain space where if they had what we had now, I wonder how much further they would have gone. Because I see folks who have the resources we have now and don't even maximize, strategize, organize. It is probably the biggest frustration I have with my generation and just our world now, is that for all of the resources and things that we do have access to, as a society, we have weaponized them, we have squandered them, we have exploited them, and we have not gotten closer to freedom, even though we have way better means to. And it's almost like there's a drunkenness off of ignorance. There's almost like an infatuation with mediocrity that has led to people not actually using any God-given sense of talent or passion or drive to actually do something of meaningfulness. Ooh, that's a word. But it's true. And so I just have gotten reflective, especially over the past several weeks, as you can imagine, of just observing a lot of individuals. And we'll talk more about a certain somebody in a minute and their little new album. But if you're I'm not ever going to be instantly impressed with people, places, and things that are not maximizing their fullest potential, ability to do the right thing, to do something good, to do something grand. I just don't have the enthusiasm, because I see in my everyday life, real life heroes in my friendships, my relationship, my networks of folks, where I'm seeing people really do some incredible things with what they have, and they're making the most. I look at myself, and that is the story of my career. Like, when I look at just certain aspects of my career, and I'm like, damn, how did I achieve that when I didn't even have half of the things I have now? Like, I just look at certain moments, I'm just like, we made that work. I'm like, things was working. We just pulled it together. And that just inspires me. But folks out here sitting around with a menagerie of resources and don't do a damn thing with it, I'm just like, okay, great, yay, talent, that's nice. But like, I'm just never going to give you your Gaetz. If you want 10s across the board from me, it's just not happening. It's an 8. Cool. You do what you do well. Great, wonderful. But imagine someone else with a platform or someone else with the resources to do that same thing, how big they'll amplify it. I just think of folks who are really maximizing what they are doing, and then folks are just so predictable, so conventional, so basic, that it's just not interesting anymore. And I'm thinking about that about celebrity culture. I'm thinking about that with politicians. I'm just thinking about that about a lot of things. I think we're in this interesting phase of what I consider a diagnostic era, of it's time to look at everything around yourself and do a diagnostic about what you consume and how you consume it. What do you invest in? What do you give your time into? And is it worth that? I've been doing a lot of that type of evaluation. I'm doing my self-diagnostic. Not so much personally. I went through my self-diagnostic as far as my circle. We talked about this, I think, a year ago about an audit. And I've done that already. So I feel good with who I have around me. People, I've done enough of that. I think I know who I like and who I don't like at this point. But I'm just looking at like a larger scale, like pop culture, what I watch, what I consume. Why do I? What makes me drive to those things? What I listen to, what I go up for, what gets me out, And I've just been evaluating some things. And I feel like the book, The Case for Council Culture, my baby, right? It just really laid this book really was ahead of its time, because I feel like now some people are revisiting it. It's just an interesting, the way in which people discover the book or hear about it and again go out and find it and reach out to me. Like, I get on a weekly basis, I get like letters and emails from people who will just tell me a story about how they read it and who told them about it. And it's just, I love those stories. And so there has been a group of people who've been doing book clubs, and they've been returning to this text. And they've just been telling me, like, initially when they first heard about it, they didn't like it, or they didn't read it, but they didn't like the premise, because they just thought that, why are we canceling things? People are innocent, yada, yada. They just read it. This is why I tell people, just read a fucking, don't assume. I guess people are allergic to reading books now, but it's fine. But there were people who initially, some folks that were telling me like how they didn't like the premise of the book because they thought that it was very, what did this person say? It was a particular term. It was anti-restorative. That's what they said. They said it was anti-restorative, and they felt like, the type of teaching and world they're under, that, it should be about healing and second chances and shit. But I was like, if you actually read the fucking book, motherfucker, you want to know. Well, they did read the book. And they said, when I finally read the book, I felt frustrated because I felt betrayed. They said they felt betrayed about the election, like some of the stuff that was happening during the Harris campaign and all that, that when they finally read the book, which I guess they recently read it, but they said they read it, they said it put into context that canceling isn't this idea of just ending people on vengeance. It's actually about taking a stand and saying no. I said, well, thank you for reading the book. It's been over a year, and I'm so happy that you finally read it and gave it a shot. I'm not trying to be sassy, but it's just like, maybe you could have listened to some interviews I did. Because that question came up a lot during interviews. And for a lot of you all who are regular listeners of Ernestly Speaking, you know what this book was about and what the premise is. But I feel like a new swath of people are reading it. I've seen the charts. I've seen some things. I'm like, okay, a new swath of people are reading it, exploring it, and what it meant and what it means. And I guess it's resonating with them right now because they're in a space where I guess they want to cancel, which makes sense. I think a lot of us, especially progressives and liberals and folks of that ilk, there are some people we need to finally be done with. Because at a certain point, playtime is over. Everybody is playing and pretending like they're yada, 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 yada. Here's my thing. At a certain point, we got to stop playing. And I think we're in this interesting space now where people are actually sick and tired of being sick and tired. And they're ready to make some serious moves because they recognize that tolerating the bullshit and commingling and coexisting with toxic, problematic ass folks, that those people were never going to share space. The whole plan of those people were to cut and eliminate your space. So you would sit over here talk about we got to be friends with people on both sides. Now the other side done won. Do they want to be friends with you still? Oh, they don't? Oh, they over there trying to take. So we elected a trans woman, right? Sarah McBride, who's in Delaware. And now Congress is trying to create a transgender bathroom ban in the congressional buildings because now we have an elected transgender member of Congress for the first time in American history. And now they are trying to eliminate bathrooms for one woman. One woman. They're literally creating a trans bathroom ban bill for one woman in Congress. And they're not leaving up on it. The Republicans are like, is putting their foot down. See, where are the Democrats when it comes to, I'm not even going there. They don't have a backbone, they have a spine. See, one thing about Republicans is that they believe in their shit so much that they're invested in it. And I think that's what's being very telling, And so, so much. And Nancy Mace of South Carolina, she's the congresswoman. She's a mess. Because this is what happened. So, people failed to realize that it was a calculated trap. And McBride failed to fall for it. Sarah McBride failed to fall for that trap because that's the trap. They're doing what they're doing, to try to, do this stuff. And she ignored it. And I appreciate that. I think Sarah McBride ignoring that was powerful, But again, they're putting something up. The Republicans, they stand on they stand on what they stand on, and Democrats just do what they want to do. But I digress. So I guess I went in a little bit right now, but I just, it's been quite an interesting time we're in. This is our final episode before December, and then we'll be getting ready for the finale very, very soon. But this past week, I've been outside. As you can see, I've been outside. We outside tonight? No, I was outside. I went out. I've gone out a lot. Just wanted to just vibe this past couple of weeks. I just really have taken some time just to hang out. I mean, of course, I'm still doing work, of course, but I took some time to really hang out and do some things. Like I went to Mama Joanna finally. Um, this is the place that's in Fishtown, the new spot. It's been here for a couple of months. I have not been officially until this weekend. I did brunch. I wasn't committed to doing dinner yet. I was like, let me do brunch. So Lit Brothers, of course, we did brunch there. It was good. It's I like that. It's a lot of black people were there. It got a Dominican, Puerto Rican, Dominican flair, like a Latin inspired cuisine. It's not all Latin, but there is a flair there. Like the look, the smell, the vibe, the drinks, very tropical. That's what it was giving. Like, but the food is they have standard food dishes, but they do have like they have plantain. Like I think it was Dominican. I think it was like a Dominican restaurant. It's not Puerto Rican. It's Dominican. Like it was like plantains. They had like yeah, because it's called a Dominican breakfast. That was one dish they had, but they do have traditional steak and egg dishes. They do have the French toast. They have really fun cocktails with passion fruit and mango. So it's very fun and festive. Very big space for those who have been around the block. This was where the old Mad Rex was. This is where the Finn was. A lot of places have gone and come and gone in that location, but this is right there in that corner, right before you turn over to the Fillmore. That's what this is now. And it's been around since September, and the Lit Brothers, we finally got to do our big one and have a big old brunch. And it was nice. They were great. They served us well. I enjoyed my time there. Went to do a birthday. John Pierre, one of my good friends, he had a lovely birthday party at his place on Broad. And it was a nice party. Jamarcus and I went, and it was a cute turn up. And it was a nice Saturday night. And I took a nice little Saturday photo, and you all lost your mind on the internet about it. Um, but I like every blue moon I'll pop up in. Sometimes I'll pop up and give y'all a cute little photo. But y'all don't know how to act. It's like I do one little picture. See, I love it because I don't do anything crazy. Like I don't take off no clothes. I don't give y'all any. I don't do all that. I just take one picture, casual, me not in a suit and some jeans is looking nice, and y'all go up for it. But that just shows you when you look good. You hear this, people? When you look good, you don't gotta do all this. See, all y'all be thirst trapping. I don't even thirst trap. I just give y'all a bag. I give y'all a nice shoe, and y'all go up for it. And I be telling some of my friends this. I be like, listen, you don't gotta put no much thought into it. Some of y'all do too much. Like y'all edit y'all photos. Like you don't gotta do all that. People will like, if you look like you having a good time or you look cute and you just doing you, people will just like that. All that extra thought. I feel like when you put in too much thought into it, too much editing, too much all that read, it's annoying. It's not fun anymore. Just fucking take the fucking picture. That has been me forever. And all my friends know it. Because some of them, they know I've gotten their ass about it. I am not about to take 5,000 photos of you. I'm not about to fill into your death. If you don't like the way this is looking, then you need to go work on that. For real. There's this. I don't want to read this one person. We're not like friends like that. I went to school with this girl years ago. And one of my people, Dr. Parks, gonna know who I'm talking about. She gonna know specifically who I'm talking about. But I just have to say this. And I've probably said this in many episodes in the past, like many years. Abel might know who this is, but I'm going to text him. He's not going to know the person. I'm going to text him and say, this is what I'm talking about. He's going to say, oh, shit. This girl, none of y'all know who she is. But they know who she is. It was a girl many years ago. I was in college. She's sweet girl, whatever. She wanted me to take pictures of her. And I would say, okay, I'll take a picture. I fell for the picture trap. I don't really like taking, I'm good at taking photos. Like, I just know how to take a picture. Like, I get it. But I have learned not to take pictures of girls. Don't ask me to take pictures because I have impatience. Like, I just can't do the 5,000. This is too much. And then half the time, y'all even be posting these pictures. Or you doing all that like a photo shoot. Who's getting paid? Are you an influencer that you get paid to post? Like, I'm sorry. Like, as somebody who knows how the game works, I ain't gonna spill on my own personal tea about what I do. But if you're not, like, I don't know why you put, there are people that be putting way too much energy on stuff. And I just be like, you got a man though. But who you trying to get in your DMs? But are you getting paid for this? Is this a modeling contract? You just care that, what? But what they gonna say if the angle's the other angle though? These are the questions that come through my mind when I see this stuff. I wish like there was TikTok back in the day, because what I would have did was I would have voiced over my thoughts while I was taking the picture. I don't use TikTok, as you all know. I don't really care for it. But my mindset would be like, if there was a moment, I would really voice over it and just be like, do y'all think this is, because that's really me. Like, I just feel like, what's going on? What's really going on here? So this girl, this is when I was in college, so this is over 10 years ago. And this is like when Instagram was like first had like really came onto the scene. Some of y'all remember a lot. Well, first of all, anybody listen to this podcast, I might have some young listeners, but anybody over the age of 30 in my podcast, y'all remember when Instagram first dropped? Okay, it was better times. When it was really about the photos and not about the reels and all this other shit. When Instagram was just a place to post pictures, but the pictures would tell you everything, honey. That was the era. We used to do all the filters, okay? Instagram was so different back then. But anywho, I remember when the logo used to have color. When it used to be an actual image of a Polaroid, and it was actually a graphic of Polaroid. It wasn't like an iconic image with this blue-pink thing. Remember that? Okay, I'm taking y'all back. So back when it was that era, that's how you know this was long ago. I was taking pictures. This girl made me take a picture. She was on the steps of a building. Will not name the building because the building will out this situation even further for some people that might pick up. But she was like, there was these pictures. I think she had some Ugg boots on. Oops, I'm talking too much. And I took about maybe 3-4 photos. I was like, okay, you look good. She wanted 5,000 different ones. I took maybe about 30-something photos. Y'all, this girl spent maybe 20 minutes sitting down, looking over all of these like pictures, and then found the one that she thought she was most happiest in. And then she posted it. I said, see, this is, I knew then that this social media shit was a disease. I said, you went through 30 fucking photos. Like the only time I knew people that did that was like models. Like you would, like, people are out here slimming their photos, like y'all playing with y'all noses, y'all doing cropping. Like, is it that serious? Like, that's when I knew over 10 years ago, years ago, that this shit was gonna ruin folks. And it has. It has officially ruined people. Because, I mean, I was confused. I said, you look the same. I mean, look, there were some different poses, and I wasn't taking any blurry photos, y'all. But when I saw that, I said, this is a lie. That's when I knew. So I just promised myself that I was never going to let myself be consumed in that way with Instagram. So that is why you all don't, like, I post pictures, but I don't do all that. I just don't. Like, I don't play around with images and stuff. Like, y'all say I look good now. Okay, I lost weight. Yes. Right. Ain't no funny business. That's my skin. Like, I do take care of my skin. I'm not playing with no filters, the blemish. I'm not doing all that. Because my mindset is, who the hell are y'all to be judging me like y'all ain't got your own shit going on? Like, I just think we need to reverse the camera lens on the society we in. For ladies, gents, they, them, anybody listen to this podcast right now, if you're in a position where you're playing like that with your filters on it, listen to me very carefully. Who the fuck is any of these people that you give a fuck about that cares that much about anything? Seriously. I just want to know who these people be and do they care? Like, I am that person. I'm the person that's like, let me check my money, my bank statements. Did any of these people, okay, they did not. Okay, did I get, no? Okay, then I don't give a fuck. That picture y'all saw, Jamarcus took that picture with one snap, baby. He took like, I think 1 or 2 pictures. One was blurry, and then the other one, that was it. That's what y'all got. We're not doing all that. I know my pose. See, this other thing too. If you that vain like that, practice your poses in the mirror. I don't even have to know what my smile is. I know what my smile is before I even take a picture. They be like, you think it looks good? Oh, I know I look good. Because I know my poses. If you that person, go practice your poses in the mirror. Go practice how you look in pictures. Go practice your left, your right, your whatever. Go practice your smile so you know what you look like. So we don't got to be looking surprised every time you take a picture. You don't know what your smile look like. You don't know what your smile feels like. You don't know what face you serving before you serve it. Practice in the mirror by yourself before you waste anybody's life and precious time taking 5,000 photos of you and you don't like how your face is. Practice your face in the mirror. Pro tip. So, yes, it was a great party. Shout out to John. Love you. Now, I also went to Mr. Ivy Club. Now, Mr. Ivy, the Lit Brothers, we was outside a lot this week. We've been having a good time. Mr. Ivy is a new club that is, I believe it's in Northern Liberties. And it's a brand new club. The girls are in love with it. I thought it was incredible. I like that club. I did. So you all saw videos of it's in Northern Liberties. It's bold, it's new, it's different. So let me tell you a little bit about this club. It is basically a nightclub, but it's part dance, part lounge, part bars. They got big ass bars on both sides. They have sections, which I love a good section. We was in a section because I'm not going to be standing all night for myself. But they have cute sections. We have bottle service, which was fabulous. Shout out to, Union Vodka. We love it. We love Union Vodka. It was cute. It was a vibe. We had a good time. What makes that place pop is that throughout the night they have these performance acts that are really grown, sexy, mature acts. This is not for clearly young people, but young people couldn't go anyway. But this is a grown ass club. Like they had, I don't even want to give it away, but they have live performers. They got fire throwers. They got acrobatics. They got all of it. Grown and sexy. And what I liked about the show is that these people perform like every, 30 minutes or so. You get your groove on your dance, and there's a cute little show in between. Now, some of y'all might be thinking, is this like Fabrica, or whatever that place is called? It's like that, but this is a little bit more grown and also not as let me get my words right. Obnoxious. Like Fabrica, I think, is really into that. Like they do the juggling, they do a real show, right? And so that's like their focal, where it's almost like that is the show. This is light. This is like, okay, you get a little bit of dancing, a little bit of that. You get a little bit of that type of performance, but it doesn't cloud the night, but it does entice. But it's also more elevated and more grown and sexy. So it's not meant to be like these artists are like artists for the Cirque du Soleil energy. It's meant to be like, okay, this is an adult themed show. There's going to be a little bit of shock and awe, but they're a part of that act. And so it's more manageable in that way versus some of these places that have done this in the past. They will want to keep an act going like it's like an all-night thing. It's almost like you're really barely dancing. You're barely having a fun time elsewhere. Like, yeah. And it's not like Lestage, which is an old place that used to be open. Lestage, if y'all remember that, where there's a stage and you're just going to see the show, like a Moulin Rouge. It's not that either. I like this. This is a nice medium of you got some dance elements, you got some performance elements that's really eye captivating, but it doesn't suck the life out of the show, right? You can go back to dancing, vibing, but then you get a little bit of entertainment. But I did like it a lot. Very beautiful venue, very nice space. It was a good time. The boys had a blast, and I did too. Other things that definitely stood out to me, that stands out to me a lot. I went to Coletta. For those who want to know what Coletta is the piano bar that is inside of Hotel Anna and Belle, which you're like, wait a minute, what else is there? Bastia. Yes, Bastia is there. Bastia is, of course, this is the fish town. This is the hotel restaurant. This restaurant Bastia is in Hotel Annabelle, and it is in that's the new hotel, and it's in Fishtown. Coletta is like the sister bar that is inside the same space, but like right adjacent to it. So when you go into Hotel Anna and Belle, which is a nice boutique, luxurious hotel, it's very nice. You go inside. The moment you go in there, Bastia is like right there. But when you go inside Bastia, it's Mediterranean, it's cute. You go through there, and then before you go to the poolside area, there's a little bar. That bar is Coletta. That is a great ass bar. Now those drinks are not for the meek price wise. They're like $19. You know, they're not cheap. But each drink was incredible. Each cocktail was a hit. Very tropical, very fruity, very fun. They got stiff drinks, they got heavy drinks, they got martini. They do their big one there. I liked every drink I had there. And they have bites. So you could go, I mean, so let's say, because I know some people like to do stuff like this. You know, listen, I have mixed thoughts, but I'll say this. Some people, you know, I think I talked about this a couple of weeks ago when I went to Vernon Fish and had the social hour. And I was telling you all how people go, like they want a social hour when they want to go somewhere and get a drink before going out to dinner to another restaurant, but they like to do these like multiple stops. I have thoughts about that, but some people like to do that. They go somewhere, get a cocktail, you know, and then go to the restaurant or something. I don't know. People do that. That's a thing. So that's why social hours are cute. What I think I will say is that I feel like Coletta is that. But I don't know if Coletta is the thing you do before you go to Bastia for dinner or after. Now, Lauren, my good Judy and I, we went to Coletta to try the drinks, to try the bar. Because I already been to Bastia. But then we found ourselves at Bastia right after because it was next door. And I wanted some dessert. And I really liked their olive oil cake with their pistachio, a scoop of pistachio gelato that goes on top of the olive oil cake. That shit is incredible. So what I did do is we went to Coletta and we did the drinks. We have bites. They have some really good. So you could go to Coletta. For those who want to do this, let's say you just want to go out for a little nightcap. You want to be, you know, booed up, or you want to go out with a good friend and spill some tea. Because we was definitely spilling some tea that night. I would say Coletta is a nice spot to go for a nice little drink, and you can have some bites. And they got cute bites. Like, you know, they got food basically. They got snacks, they got food. They got their own food menu that is not the same as Bastia. They do have a brother-sister relationship with the food and, of course, the culinary, because it's ran by the same people. Chef Tyler Atkin and Benji, you know, they doing their thing over there. The beverage program director, Benji, is doing their thing over there. So you could do both, right? But that's a place where you go with a friend. Y'all just say, look, let's go to Coletta, girl. Let's go get some drinks, whatever. You go there, have a bite. You chilling, you vibing. It's cute, right? That's a cute situation for that. You know, that's what we did. But what I would say is that I feel like the vibe of Coletta, you don't go there first and then go to Bastia for dinner, in my opinion. I feel like it's so dark and so, you know, the ambiance. I feel like that's where you go after dinner. So you go to Bastia, you go there for dinner. It's cute. Let's say you're on a date night vibe. Even though Bastia is like that's giving fourth date night. That's not my first date night. I mean, unless you balling like that. But if I was like on a date, I mean, you know, hypothetically in my head, like I'm trying to envision this. But see, I have to reassess my level of status in the world. Okay, so putting myself in an average middle class, millennial-esque energy. Okay. Let me just think of that. What does that look like? Let me think for my friends. Okay, that's not a place you go on your first date. You're not going on your first date. You're going there maybe third or fourth date. You're probably hooked up at this point or did some things, because if you did not at this point, I don't know if Boston. Yeah, you've did some. Y'all done got uncomfortable. Y'all comfortable with each other at this point. You don't regret the bill at this point. Y'all familiar with each other. You like each other. You know you like her. You know, you like him. Y'all like each other. Like, you know what it's giving. You could go there and then you have a great dinner and it's cute or whatever, right? Now, if you're in a relationship and you want to take somebody out to celebrate whatever, great restaurant to go to. Like if a baby got promotion, you want to celebrate something good going on, y'all really want to do something great before vacation. If you're in a relationship already, this is great. This is a place for serious relationships. Period. If you're married, go here. This is great. This is a great relationship. Great date night if you are already in a relationship. If you're somebody that's trying to fill somebody out, no pun intended, this needs to be like the fourth date. This ain't the first date. This is coming on too strong, in my opinion. You know. So I would say if y'all having a good night and you are around my age where I'm not a nightclub girl anymore. I'm not like, I just went to Mr. Ivy. That was cute because I had a section. But like, I'm not a nightclub person like all the time. Like I'm not going to a nightclub all the time. But if you're the kind of person where you're like, look, I want to do something after dinner, but I don't want to go to a nightclub. I don't want it to be too loud and too wild. Right? And some of you all, I know how y'all do. Y'all go downtown, you go to Del Frisco's, you go to some restaurant, and then you'll go to Assembly, you go to some rooftop afterwards. This is giving you that same vibe without having to leave. And that's what I love about it. Because you can literally, when you cross over to Coletta, like literally they're connected. Like you walk into there, you're like, oh, this is a vibe. This is cute. This is nice. It's giving late night. Oh, you know. And if you, I might be talking too much, but let me just put this in context. Let's say you rented a room, like you wanted to start the night off right, and you rented a room already at Hotel Annabelle because you can't get one at the last minute. But you said, let's go to dinner first. Let's check in. Let's go to dinner first. Then let's go here. This is the right vibe to set the mood right before you go to whatever you're about to do next. I don't know. I thought I got all of that from when I went there. So this could do two things. You could either be with your good Judy, go get a late night cocktail, sip some real messy ass tea, and really get your life. And you could just make that me and my homegirl are going to go to Coletta. We're going to be cute. We're going to be somewhere in the back. We're going to sip on some cocktails, eat some food, and talk some real good shit. And really have a good tea. And that's what we did. Or you could be with a boo. And you can say, look, we're going to go to Bastia for dinner. And then, you know what, after dinner, take me over here and, you know, let's have a little nightcap. That's a nightcap spot. Okay? There's only two vibes that's giving. That's all that is going to be. And that's all that it should be. But yet it's quality. Because those cocktails, that's a one and done cocktail spot. Maybe two. Now, we did the most because we was trying to test the drinks out. But that's a spot where you about two cocktails. And the way that those cocktails are priced, that's about two cocktails, y'all. Them cocktails, like I said, were like $17, $19. So we're talking two person. You're about $40 in for yourself. And the other person, like I said, that's why I had to assess myself and get myself together before I gave y'all these recommendations. Because some of y'all looking like, you mean one drink, right? A nightcap. Yes. For some of my younger millennials, maybe just you and them get a drink. Y'all have a drink and then y'all dip. Okay? Because y'all done already had drinks at Bastia over there, and them drinks were like $12, $14. Don't you come over here and get brand new and want to drink $2 to $3, $20 drink. Don't do that now. Don't break his bank. But then again, depending on his bank, you know what I'm saying? But like, that's just one of those spots. So I highly recommend it. I think it's dope. I did enjoy myself. I did think it's nice. And I think it is worthy of a trip for those in Philadelphia that's trying to figure out what their next date move might be or their situation's going to be. Let me also, do I want to go in yet? I do want to go in. Because then we're going to get to the other news. But I just had to get a lot of this off my chest. So I just want to also say this, and this might get a little spicy, but I'm going to say this now. I've already booked my plans for Valentine's Day weekend. I just want to say that. My Valentine's Day plans are already planned. My situation is already booked. My reservations have already been made. My Valentine's weekend. I want to let you all know, just in case you do not know, Valentine's Day is on a Friday this year. And if you have a special somebody that you care about and you love, you might want to start thinking about what that looks like right now. I'm just going to say that. Because I know that some places that I put out their Valentine's Day menus. But you might want to start thinking about how you want to plan your Valentine's Day in advance. Because I think a lot of people are going to be in their stress release era. And they want to go out and they want to splurge like they ain't got nothing left. Okay? It's that time. I say this because I feel like people play around with planning. And this is going to bring me to my next point that is irrelevant but not relevant, but I'm going to use this as an opportunity to get men together. And also, my masculine center femmes. So, let me get back to making plans. Valentine's Day is on a Friday. You've been warned. Okay? Start thinking about what that's going to look like. Do not fall behind the tracks. Okay? Start looking. The reservations for a lot of great restaurants for February begins to open sometimes in December, but definitely January. Put a timer. Put a calendar. Okay, people? Start making those plans now, guys. Start being more proactive with your shit. Stop doing stuff last minute. Stop getting the last minute roses. Stop doing the last minute booking. Stop thinking that you need to think about Valentine's Day in February. Start thinking about it now. Colder season means it's time to get for real. And I'll tell some of you single folks out here, you guys, you ballers, you might as well just book the hotel room in advance. You don't know who you're going to get for Valentine's Day if you're single. Whatever it is, you're going to find something anyway. Why not already be proactive? Cuffing season for those who, well, first of all, we don't do cuffing season anymore, but some of y'all might do. Some of y'all still are childish. You know who I found? I find that Gen Xers are very childish. They thought the millennials were the ones playing games, but Gen Xers seem like they just won't grow up. They're like a Never Never Land. They have the Peter Pan complex. No shade. But I would just say this. I could go somewhere with that. Yeah, I'm going to go there. Let me hold on real quick. Let me go into that real quick. I've noticed with some of these Gen Xers that a lot of them are still out here playing childish games. A lot of them I know are still out here like crushing on people, sleeping with people during homecomings. Their homecomings, their 20-year, 30-year homecomings. They're out here missing the booze. They're out here still, playing games. They still out here doing, does this person like me or not? Don't ask me how I know. I'm just in the fraternity with a lot of Gen Xers, and they're out here acting like how we used to act in our beginning millennials, like when we were in college. I said, wait a minute. How old are you? You're 48 and you're acting so childish. What's wrong? Listen. It's wild out here for the Gen Xers. They're showing their ass. They're having I guess they're going through the midlife crisis. Maybe that's what it is. Something's going on with them. I just been seeing a lot of childish behavior from that demographic. Are we next millennials? No, we got a couple. We got like about next 10 years to show our ass. Not really, because how old am I? I'm 33, so 43, I won't be, but I guess around that time, some of us will be showing our asses, right? But they're showing their asses right now, baby, and it is not looking good. It is a mess. The Gen Xers are all over the place, some of them. If you're not one of those people, get your friends together. Tell them to stop putting all their business on Facebook. Tell them that they still have a career and a job and that they're not in retirement mode yet. So they need to keep that pension and everything else they're going for. They're so close. Y'all so close to getting y'all pension. Don't fuck it up. Y'all so close to getting your 10 years so that you don't have to pay your student loans. Don't fuck up your job, baby. Stop being messy. Stop trying to be a real housewife. Okay? Some of y'all are doing too much. But back to my story. So plan ahead. Be proactive. Think about Valentine's Day right now. I know that's stressing you out because you're like, wait a minute, I haven't thought about Christmas yet. I know, but Christmas is going to come and go, baby. Get them gifts and be done with it. Black Friday, get it done. But start thinking about Valentine's Day. I just want to say that because I've already did everything. I'm one of those proactive people. I've already booked my Martha's Vineyard trip. I've already booked my flights. I already got my room, my summer house. Let me just say this too. To anybody who wants to go to Martha's Vineyard that is new to this Martha's Vineyard game, you need to go on Vbro, or whatever it's called. Start booking that shit now. Don't look at my trip and say to me, oh my God, I want to go to Vineyard. Is it fun? It's fun, bitch. It's great. Take your ass over there and get it now. Start looking at summer houses and stuff now if you're interested in that. Because I'm going to tell you, after Christmas, it gets harder to find places. Well, you can find places, but the charges go up. Like I literally found a summer home. I'm going to stay there for a week. Oh, look at me, Freudian slip, not a month, a week. But I found a great summer home and a private summer home, like it's all mine, in Oak Bluffs, and it was $225 a night. Anybody who's in Martha's Vineyard is in that world, you know that that's a steal. Well, it's gotten stolen. I don't say this to say that there's other places available, okay? But the reason why I got it for that rate is because I was committed to staying there for more than 5 days. So I'll just put you on a pro tip about this real quick, because I don't want to digress into my larger point I want to say. But those summer homes, for those who are interested in Martha's Vineyard, if you're going to go to the Hamptons, wherever you want to go, those summer homes are very particular about the number of days you spend. Martha's Vineyard is not a place that you spend 2 days at. People that do that whole, I'm there for a day, whatever, you must be staying at somebody's place. You cannot have fun at Martha's Vineyard for 1 day or 2 days. It's not that kind of place. It's not Atlantic City. Like, I feel like Atlantic City, you go to Atlantic City for like 1 or 2 days and have a good time, right? I've done overnights at Atlantic City. I get it. I love it, right? This is not that. Like, this is a place where you need to be there for several days. And I've said this before. 3 days is the minimum. The minimum. And that's not even doing enough, to be honest. But 3 days minimum. I am doing this year 7 days. I'm doing a week. I'm leaving like on a Sunday and I'll come back on I'm doing a week this next year. I'm doing a whole week. I just need it. I need the day to recuperate and just relax and get settled. And then I just want to just rock out for 5 straight days. And then, my last day is my last day. But I feel like 5 days is best. The first day, I'm just settling down. I'm getting situated. And then 5 days straight, Monday through Friday, I'm rocking out. And then Saturday is the final day or whatever. You do your last one. And then you checking out, you dipping out on that Sunday. But I just want 5 straight settled in days of nonstop fun. Like, I just want to do different things. And so I do this with my USC group. This will be the 3rd time I'm going. And I do feel like 3rd time's a charm. I loved it this year. It was great. But the more I'm there, I realize I really want to stay there for extended period of time to really soak up the magic of the place. And so I'm in my groove. I know what I'm doing now. I feel like when I go back next year, I'm going to have a day of outdoor activities. I'm going to do canoeing. I'm going to do all that shit, all my outdoor stuff in one day. Then another day, I'm going to just do beach. I just want to have a whole full beach day. I know, me at the beach, interesting. But I just want to do something beachy. And then the next day, I just want to do local treasures. I want to just go to these historical parts because there's a lot of Black history there. And I just want to do some in-depth nature historical trips. Then I want to do an eat day. I just want to just go and I want to eat at all these different places that are very local and special to the vineyard. And then I just want to do throughout the period, I want to do, outdoor parties and cookouts and barbecues and little shit like that. I just want to do all of it. I want to suck up all of this stuff. So I got this. I learn and then I apply. And so I've already taken myself there. Vineyard is booked. Flights are booked. I did everything. I take plane. I just the flights were cheap though. The flights are really well priced this year. I mean, because I did it early. But I'm just not playing. I'm already committed to it. Because I feel like when you book your vacations and you plan ahead, any opportunities you have, you can already just know this is a no-go. I cannot do it this day. I'm going to be gone. It's already in my calendar. And it forces you to commit to relaxation. I feel like when you don't plan ahead sometimes with some of your travels and fun, it's almost like it can slip you by. I've realized with myself, if I don't give myself ample time to vacation or relax or something, I won't do it. I just will be I didn't plan anything. Well, I guess that's the day I can go to this or do that. I've learned recently that I need to just be more proactive in booking the stuff, locking the stuff in. Because if I lock it in, then I'm committed to it. Then I can't flip. No one can take my time. Nobody can persuade me to do something different. Nope. Valentine's Day, I am done from that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday is Mr. Johnson's birthday because his birthday is on February 17th. So I'm committed to all of the things. There will be no surprises there. So I've learned that is one of those things where I gotta, I'm just going to have to commit in advance. And if I commit myself in advance, there's no changing that. Because some people will do that to you where they'll say, oh, whatever. No, even Mr. Johnson's birthday, already planned it, already booked. Already planned his birthday the following week. He's turning 30. So it's a big 30th birthday bash. Already planned it. Already done sent. Invites have already been sent. Like, you just got to be ahead of it. You just got to just know, boom, bam, this is what we doing. Because if you don't, that's when it gets a little slippery. That's when people can just play with your schedule and say, oh, you're free for this. And you're like, oh, well, I guess I could go. I can't go. It's already planned on my calendar. I can't do those things. So that's my trick. But my last thing I want to say, two things I want to say before I get into hot topics. I guess we was catching up a lot because I was outside a lot, I guess. I went to a party called for the Black Men in Education Conference. My LB, Dr. Hayes. There's a lot of doctors, Dr. Parks, Dr. Hayes, Dr. Geo. But Dr. Hayes is what I'll call him on the show. He invited me to a party, which was really fun. They took over Sueno, which is like in the neighborhood. It's not in the neighborhood. It's like adjacent to the neighborhood. I guess this is what the Straits call Midtown Village. But he was there. It was a party, and it was nice. It was upstairs, downstairs. This was the most I've went to parties like this back to back like this. But I'm also reminded very much so, like, I am not a public party girl. I bumped into so many people that know me. People I didn't, like, they're not like my close friends, but like, when you go out and it's like, oh my goodness, I guess I'm having a first world problem. Everybody want to come up to you and talk to you. They want to do selfies. It's like, oh my goodness, I just was here to support a friend. I just want to just chill in my little area, my little section. See, this is why I like to be in a section, because listen, I don't know. Like, the main dance floor, that party was lit. It was a nice party. But they rent that space out, upstairs, downstairs. It was a party. It was a party. Black male educators, Black men education. We are out there. We are educators. I'm a proud educator. See, look at that. We out here, okay? So shout out to them. Another thing I want to say before I say my main point, I guess I have to answer this question. Y'all was asking about Telfar. You was like, why was you not at the Telfar opening? Listen, I had to go to my bestie John's birthday, and John is a really great friend of me, and I just was not going to miss his party. So that's why I did not go. But it looked fun. I knew about the medium bag for a little bit, but I just was, held into secrecy. What I will tell you about this medium bag is they will sell this. They're going to sell this. They're going to do a drop very soon. Very, very soon, like Black Friday soon. You hear that? This medium bag, if I'm not mistaken with the pricing, I think it will be in between pricing between the medium and the small. I don't know. Like, I feel like based on touching it, I have seen the bag. The girls are gonna love it. Ladies are gonna love that bag. Y'all are gonna buy that bag up. This medium bag, I see why you will want it, right? I think for me, that will be the bag I will get when I just want to just get a color. Like, whenever there's a color that is a trend, like a fancy color that's a very, like, this is a moment bag. I feel like that is the bag to get if you want to be trendy, but if you don't want to drop like the massive $250 or $200 for the medium bag. But you're tired of little small bags. Because I never got a small bag. The small was too small for me, baby. I've always was a fan of the medium because the large was large and in charge. The medium bag, so let me tell you about this medium, why the medium bag is not going. This medium bag, right, is a cute bag to accompany you. That's going to carry all your stuff. You're going to fit your cell phone, your phone charge. It's going to carry all the major things, right? It does not fit that laptop, which is okay for some situations, and I'll get there in a minute. But it's going to fit everything else that the little small bag does not carry. I feel like they should kill the small bag, but don't quote me on that, because I know there's some people that price point wise, that small bag is going to do what they're going to do. And every Telfar is for the people. So I will never tell my bestie Telfar, my little fashion bestie, I will never tell him not to do it. For me, I don't need the small bag. The small bag is not for me, but that's just my taste. I'm a tall girl. But I will say, though, this medium is going to be, like, for me, what I think this medium does for me is whenever it's a super fancy bag, and I just want to be super, and it's like one of them bags that you can't wear all the time. It's like what I call the birthday bag or the celebration bag. That is the bag to get. Like if you're going to a gala, if you're going to a special event and you really want to pop out and show off, but you're not going to wear that bag all the time, that is the perfect bag. Okay? This medium bag is the ideal bag for special occasions. Because I wear his medium bags like that. But I'm a special category. Now, let me tell you about why the medium bag still has a case. If you are looking for that sturdy bag that you can wear on a regular basis and you want to hold your laptop, you want to go to work, you want to go whatever, you need a nice Telfar bag, a color that's a neutral color you're going to wear for different stuff. That medium bag is still relevant and is still necessary. So that's where I'm at with it. Special occasion, like when he has the metallic bags, the crazy party bags, the fun once of a lifetime bags, get them in medium. If you are looking for a bag that you want to wear on a regular basis and you want it to be your to-go bag, your work bag, your whatever bag, get the medium. Because that medium can still fit the laptop. And that's going to always be my carry-on when I go to the airport. That is my carry-on bag. This medium will never be my carry-on. For some of y'all, it might be. But the reason why it's going to always be my carry-on bag is because of the fact that I want to put my laptop in there. And I want to carry my laptop when I go on the plane. I never put my laptop in any suitcase. I always bring it with me on my... So that will always be my carry-on bag, is my medium bag. Just FYI. So, just some food for thought for that. Because I know y'all was asking those questions and those are my answers. But the pop-up is nice. I will eventually go. The store is an experience within itself. It's an immersive experience. This is something he's going to do for a long time. And I'm just really happy that it is taken over. And who's to say there might be more to come? But y'all got to really support this New York location. If this really succeeds and exceeds expectations, I can see this being in LA. I can see it potentially being in Chicago. I can see it potentially expanding even to Tokyo or places like that. I can see that. But what happens in New York, what happens with this store, if this store really does this big one, which it will do, expect it to expand. But I really love the fact that there is a space because there's going to be runway shows, walkway shows, fashion. It's just going to be a lot there. It's going to be an immersive experience. The best is yet to come there. So I just wanted to say that. So my last point, before I get into hot topics. Men and those who are male-centric adjacent, masculine censor, it's time to buy a tux. I just want to say that. Buy a tuxedo. It's time to buy a tuxedo. Go get fitted for a tuxedo. If you do not own a tuxedo currently, I am here to tell you to buy a tuxedo. It is time to buy a tuxedo. We're no longer renting tuxedos. It is time to buy a tuxedo. And do not buy a $100 one on Amazon. No shade, but let me just say that right here. Do not buy one from Amazon, sweetheart. Go get fitted and go get you one. It is time to buy a tuxedo. And this is for all of my men that are in their 30s. At this point, we're not renting tuxedos. At this point, you're going to be going places, nice places, and it's time to match the energy of the person that you're going out with, okay? Now, in this household, it's two of us, so we both have tuxedos. But it is time to buy a tuxedo. Gentlemen, don't ask me why I'm asking this question. I'm going to actually, I'm going to have to say some things. Maybe I'm going to share a little tea. I've gone to a lot of galas lately, as you all know. And I've seen women in beautiful gowns, gorgeous gowns, and there's no shade. These gowns are gorgeous, okay? But I'm looking at the men, and I'm seeing them consistently in, a blazer that does not match the pants. We like a suit. A suit is cute. But, women put a lot of energy into gowns for galas. And there was someone who asked me, well, what do men need to put effort into at a gala? Oh, there is. It's called a tux. A tuxedo is not the same as a suit. Okay? It is meant and is dressed down in a way that's fancier. And it's meant to carry a certain type of look. And if a woman is going to put all this energy into glamming herself up, I need the men to match the women in that way. You cisheads. The gays, we don't need any assignment. We just know the assignment. But it's just important to note that everybody, it's time to get a tux. Buy one. You're going out to too many events. It is time to buy a tux. Okay? And it shocks me that there are men who don't even rent tux. Now, I used to rent tux. I'm the tux rent girl. But lately, I have bought a tux. And I'm so happy that now with my, I'm so happy that I didn't make expensive investments, when I was at the weight I was in, because I've had, with a lot of my old clothes, I've had to either give them away, or I've had to, in some cases, because some of them were very expensive clothes, I had to hem some things, right? But now I'm buying suits, getting new suits, of course. But I felt like with my tux that I have, I got a new tux because it fits. But I was realizing how many men don't. So a good tux will run you around $400, $600. It could be more, depending on what you do. But a good tux will be around $400 to $600 range. So prepare to spend some money. But it's a worthwhile investment. Now, I got a recent 3-piece tux. I got the tuxedo shirt. A really nice tuxedo shirt. Because let me tell you this too. You need to get a tuxedo shirt. Tuxedo shirts are very different. You need to own cufflinks. You need to also own the pieces that go for the tuxedo. You want to get a vest, a 3-piece, okay? Something nice. So I recently got a Vera Wang tux and I got a Calvin Klein tux. Classic black and a navy. Navy tuxes are special. You want to mix it up sometimes. But a black tux, let's start there. Let's start with a nice standard tuxedo. And then we work our way from that. A black tux or a navy tux, but let's work our way somewhere. Gray tuxedos, don't recommend. Unless you're at a wedding, you want to rent something. But we're going to a lot of galas. We're going to a lot of nice formal events. It is time to mix it up. So that's what I'm here to tell you. Something told me to tell you all that. And so here I'm telling you that. Now, let's move to the hot topics. Where do I start? This man's name needs no introduction, but let's start with him. Matt Gaetz. So last week's episode, we talked a lot about Matt Gaetz's appointments, the controversy that was coming with them. At this point with politics, for whatever reason, everyone's celebrating that he's no longer, he has taken himself out of being the nominee for Attorney General. Womp, womp, womp. The Republicans was not having it. He used the big D word, and that was not dick, even though Matt Gaetz clearly has been using his penis in very inappropriate ways. The big D word is distraction. His situation was a big distraction. He said he did not want this to be a distraction towards the Trump administration and their progress. Progress. But Matt decided to take himself out. I mean, there was a lot of tea to be spilled here. First of all, he resigned last week, which is what I first caught my eyes on. He resigned last week just in time so that the ethics committee would not be able to release their findings. Some stuff is leaked. There's been all types of allegations that have come out that he did pay for sex, allegedly. That there was situations where there was concerns about underage girls, but there was also evidence that he did pay for sex that was of age. The fact that any of this is going on, all of this behavior, and this is happening by Republicans who keep acting like they're the defenders of morality in this country, which is the biggest hypocrisy forever and ever. Right? So this guy has spent a lot of his energy, he had the vice president-elect, J.D. Vance, going around Congress, walking with him while all these allegations were swirling and concerns. Trump says, I'm not going to, reconsider my choice. And then he did. Of course, he picked a woman to do it, who used to be, I guess, the Florida Attorney General. So he has his replacement for Attorney General already. It's already a done deal. But also, what we also have found out is that it's Pam Bondi. So Trump's Attorney General pick is Pam Bondi, who is more conventional than Gaetz, but she has the agenda to disrupt the Justice Department. So that's not going to change. She's more conventional, right? But she's also someone that we should, keep an eye on, right? She has a past vow, right? She plans to prosecute, quote unquote, bad prosecutors who indicted Trump. This is a part of the revenge, right? Which is a lot. But we got a lot going on. Josh Shapiro is our governor in, of course, Pennsylvania. He has to deal with a Republican attorney general now, because Dave Sunday won. That's going to be interesting. Because this man might next be, Dave Sunday might be the Republican guy that they might think is the adhere to being a Republican governor. Pennsylvania could potentially have a Republican governor. Who knows? Stuff is getting weird. But back to this AG situation. Some of y'all thought that Matt Gaetz might consider going back to Congress. He's done with the political arena. He's not done with politics, but he's done with the elected officialness, right? He cannot go back to Congress. He resigned. He's not going back to Congress. He's done. He's done. It's a done bun for him. Like, he's done. So I guess the most beautiful thing that have happened in this situation, for what it's worth, is that Matt Gaetz is out of Congress. So there'll be someone that's going to have to fill his seat. There's going to be some special elections. We'll see what happens. But he's done. Linda McMahon, WWE SmackDown. Linda McMahon is over the Department of Education. Oh, you just have to laugh to not cry. But I want to give another update, which is hilarious. So remember last week's episode, I had talked about how, where are the blacks? Where's Tim Scott? Where's Byron Donalds? Where are the blacks? And I said, at least Trump will put a black person in housing and urban development, at least. I mean, Ben Carson had that. And then what did he do, y'all? He has found his token black person. Former NFL player Scott Turner, who's black, is his nominee for Housing and Urban Development Secretary. Yes. He's black. Yes. He's a black man. Yes, he's a former NFL player. And some of y'all will ask me the other question. Is he married? Yes, he is married. Yes, that too. Because I know that's the next thing that black folks want to know. If you know that question, you already know the answer is yes. He is married to, yes, he is married to, yes, he is, she is also, yes, You know what that means. And just to put something in perspective, because I know y'all want to know this other question, what's shocking to you all, and this is the part that's gonna get you, his wife is black. Yes, Robin Turner is black, but Byron Donald and Tim Scott's wives, yes, Tim Scott has a wife now. They're both, Yes, I think he's a converter. I think he is a converter. I think, everybody's like, who was, Scott Turner's wife? She's a black woman. Her name is Robin. Yeah. She's a Bible thumper, for Christ. It's one of those types of relationships. I don't know what he has to do with urban development and the fair, but I think the critiques and the criticism around him not having anybody black, he had to find somebody. So he put them in the ghetto. I'm sorry. He put them in housing department. So that's going to be the secretary. Y'all know Ben Carson had that role. I feel like that's where the Republicans put the blacks. They put them over there. Housing, urban development. Y'all know about them project. Y'all go fix that. That makes sense, because the white folks are not going to want to go over there. So that's like the token black person position. I was waiting, because I was like, who he going to put over there? And I was shocked when they said all his cabinet positions were filled. I was like, that one I feel, yeah. That's the token black person position. Now, he know he could have put Byron Donalds over there. Now, he know he could have put Byron over there. Tim Scott is a senator. Tim Scott too cool for school. Now, he could have put, not that any of these people are qualified for these positions, but if we're going to entertain the fuckery, let's just entertain the fuckery. He could have put Tim Scott over Department of Education. Why he put Linda McMahon there? Oh, that's right. She's a billionaire. Never mind. I just feel like it's so disrespectful. Tim and Byron. Byron didn't get the VP slot, which I know that's what he wanted. Tim wanted VP too. He didn't get that. But you're not even going to give him a cabinet position? All that shucking and jiving, and they still don't have a cabinet position. This is the lesson. Whether it's Democrat or Republican, it's going to be what it's going to be. They're still not going to give you anything. It's just how it works. You did all that, you might as well have been on the right side. All that, because normally Republicans that play token get something. I mean, black Republicans that token often get something. Trump said he said we're not going back. And that's what he meant, I guess. Or I guess we're going back, but not that back. Well, regarding Tim, no pun intended for Tim Scott. So yeah, I guess he picked his picks. Now, the interesting scandal that has been hitting everybody is this Pete Hegseth. Now, you probably heard about him. This guy used to be an anchor on Fox News. Fox News personality dude, white dude, whatever. He's trying to go for Secretary of Defense. Trump has yet another sex scandal on his plate with who he's going to pick for his appointments. Now, who was Pete Hegseth? Now, this is scandalous and this is messy. This is the tea right here. Pete wants to go for Secretary of Defense. There is currently a scandal where he's being accused of rape. Back in 2017, he's accused of sexual assault. These are allegations, okay? There was a hiding of these documents from the public, and they have now resurfaced, and there's a lot of details and descriptions about this abuse. I don't need to get into the descriptions, but they're very horrific, okay? Here's the mess about this situation. This is very messy. The tea is hot. So, in 2017, Pete was married, okay? He was married to his first wife. We're going to get to why I say first wife in a minute. He was married to his first wife, now this is all I'm going to say allegedly. He was cheating on her, allegedly. Let's do the timetable, because we got to get these timetables right, because the timetables going to make all the difference. So apparently, or allegedly, got to make sure I say this correctly. This is all allegations. Allegedly. Around September or the summer of 2017, he was married to his first wife. He was allegedly having an affair with another woman at Fox News. His wife was pregnant, or I think his wife was pregnant at the time. Somebody was pregnant at the time. Maybe, or maybe not. Maybe there was a pregnancy involved or something. But the wife, definitely, he was having an affair allegedly with his wife, with this Fox News chick. Let's get to September. September, him and his wife are separated around that time. He, I think, starts sleeping or being more out with the Fox News lady. But him and his wife were separated, I believe, in September 2017. This sexual assault situation occurs in November of 2017. In room 528, I believe that's the hotel room number. He then, when that allegation happens, he then divorces, or the divorce or whatever happens in December. He gets official with the Fox News girl or something, or baby's born. Something happens in December of 2017. But he marries that other woman from Fox News, and that's his current wife. But let me back up. I think the Fox News chick was pregnant. The one he had the affair with, allegedly. I think she was pregnant. Somebody was pregnant during that time. I just remember it was some drama because his timeline. Okay, so here's the mess. He married his first wife in 2014. They divorced in 2009. Okay, so let me back up. This is not the first wife. Let me back up. Let me get my timeline correct. Let me back up a little bit, okay? Because this is the mess. He got married to his first wife in 2004. They divorced in 2009, okay? In 2010, he got married to his second wife. Look how close that timeline was, y'all. Pay attention. He got married. They have 3 children. In August of 2017, while still married. Okay, so my timeline was right. In August of 2017, while he was still married to his wife, he had a daughter with a Fox executive named Jennifer Raclot. Okay? We're going to talk about Jennifer. This is the tea. So I don't even have to say allegedly because the receipts are there. Okay, let me get this timeline back together. So his second wife is who he got married to in 2010 after he divorced his first wife in 2009. Let's back up a little bit. 2009, you divorce, you get married to another woman in 2010. I don't know the facts, so I'm just going to say that looks sus to me. But then let's move forward. See how you get them is how you lose them. So maybe this is how she lost them. So he gets married to his second wife. They got 3 kids. In August of 2017, let's back up this timeline. August of 2017, while he's married, he has a baby on his wife with a Fox News executive while he's working at Fox News. But they talking about we over here. I never played the whole position. I never had to play the pole position. This is what I be talking about. So you a hoe. You a ho-ho. So you married and you get a executive pregnant while you still married. So let me back up what the tea is. So November of 2017, while he's at a conference, while still married, while dealing with the shit, right, got another woman pregnant, Fox executive, while he's still at Fox, he allegedly rapes a woman in November while he's at a conference. And then, of course, in December, his wife divorced and leaves him. And then in 2019, 2 years later, the baby mama from Fox, she marries him. And now 5 years later, this man is now trying to be the Secretary of Defense. And now it resurfaces that he was accused of rape. Now, what we find out is that he settled that case in 2017. The lawyer tells the press that at the time, because you got to remember what happened in 2017. What was in 2017, y'all? The rise of Me Too. Roger Ailes, Fox News, the falling of Bill O'Reilly is around that time. Pete does not want no one to know about what happens in 2017 because Me Too's popping off. So could you imagine that while all this is going on, Roger Ailes, the Fox News implosions, all of that shit's going on, okay? There was a whole movie about it. We remember seeing that movie. I remember seeing it. What the sex affairs, the scandals. It was a lot going on. And it was a lot going on at that time. And a lot of people had their thoughts, their opinions, about what happened. But Bill O'Reilly had to fall down. Bill O'Reilly had to fall down. A lot of people had to fall down during that time. And it was a lot of speculation about what was going on and how, everything. So the movie was called Bombshell. Remember, that was in 2019. That was Nicole Kidman, Charlize Theron, Margot Robbie. That was Bombshell when that was the film. They talked about the scandals at Fox News. That's such a good movie. If you haven't seen it, it's probably somewhere on cable, whatever. But watch Bombshell. It's a very great film. And I remember seeing it at the movie theater, and I remember it just being in, all the stuff that was going on at Fox News. But if this would have came out at the time in which these allegations came, Pete Hegseth would have lost his career at Fox News, and we wouldn't even be talking about him right now for defense secretary. The allegations have resurfaced. We know that he settled. To be clear, people say a settlement is not an admission of guilt. Sometimes people just settle so they can just, move on. Apparently, he settled the case because they did not want him to potentially lose his job. The allegations alone could have cost him his career, even if it was true or not true. That's the claim from their team. I believe that woman. I mean, if you look at the report, right, which is now public record, the way in which he describes the incident that happened in that hotel aligns with some of the details that he even says. This motherfucker had on his dog tags. Disgusting. So there's a lot going on there. But this guy may not get the nomination. We'll see. But, are we going to run into another Brett Kavanaugh situation? We'll see. But I'm moving along. So we have to address this. It's time. Y'all been asking me to talk about it. I was gonna wait. I wanted some more evidence to come out, but I've seen the fuck enough. Now, Vice President Kamala Harris, with all due respect, what the fuck going on with this campaign finance money, baby? What is these reports talking about? Now, see, I'm gonna wait till December 5th when the FEC report comes out. When they're gonna put all the receipts out, we're gonna see everything in the FEC report. But stuff has been coming out, and I got some questions. $1.5 billion campaign. How you $20 million in debt? They say it's not true. The campaign denies that they're not at $20 million in debt. But the expenses that have been coming out and the fact that some people are admitting to it has been very telling. Now, I don't know all the stuff about the celebrity stuff, about Oprah. Oprah says she was not personally paid. Now, her production studio may have gotten some money from some stuff. That's what I've heard. We don't know about Beyonce. Now Beyonce's mother, who is like her resident spokesperson when Noel is not on the case, you know, y'all know what I mean by that. If y'all follow Beyonce, you know she does have a press secretary who I do know personally. I got to meet her in person. You know, Noel, listen, my girl Noel is out here working for the people. Okay, Yvette Noel, sure. She be working. Yvette be working. But sometimes when she don't feel like addressing the rumors, I do feel like Mama Tina has to come in. And Tina have said some things about a lot of, has stepped in. So Tina basically had to set the record and say Beyonce was not paid to make an appearance or anything like that. So all this whole $10 million shit, like we got to stick with the facts, people. But one thing that I will say, and I am going to have to say this, and this is going to get a little spicy, and I'm going to share some opinions. And I'm going to say it on this podcast. I'm going to keep it on this podcast, but I know it will get around or whatever. But it is what it is, and I said what I said. Roland Martin, y'all, this is it for him. Can y'all stop trying to make Roland Martin like this actual credible journalism thing? I don't care much for Roland Martin. He doesn't care much for me. We are fraternity brothers, but he's been talking shit about me in these streets. He told some people at a convention, guess who I'm not giving the grip to? And he's referring to me. If you're an alpha, you know what I'm referring to. If you're not, you don't know. It's okay. He is nasty. He is a jerk. He has a history of documented acts of homophobia. He's been a total jerk to me. I don't like him. I've never think I've ever been as blunt about this. Maybe I have. He's very rude. He's condescending. He has always been a hater towards me. When I first met him, he was nice when I first met him. He is from H-Town, but he is such a very spiteful, mean guy, and specifically to younger Black men in journalism. Like, he's one of those guys. He's one of those bitter old biddies that just will always feel like he's got to be the only one in the room, the loudest in the room, the most insecure one in the room, because let's be for real, right? But he's just such a very disingenuous man. Now, he's been generous. He does donate to charities. He does do certain things. But he's going to be the guy that's going to let you know he did it, and he's going to tell you all how much he did. There is no modest bone in his body. And that's coming from a guy who oftentimes, like myself, I'm not the modest at times. But there's a different type of energy. He's a jerk. There's no nicer way to say it. He is a jerk. And he's been a bully, and he's been very mean to me, y'all. And I'm not going to hold my tongue. He's always been very mean to me. And I don't know if it's because he ever felt, I don't want to say the word threatened, but I just feel like he's not a guy's guy. You know how they say in the industry, oh, this person's not a girl's girl. He's not a guy's guy. Like, he's very much the type of dude that's all about positioning. And it's always been that way with him. And even to the point where his journalism ethics has also always been caught up in question because of just the way that he plays the game. I mean, before there was influencing, there was him. Okay? Modern, I'll give him that. Innovative, I'll give him that. He's found a hustle, but it's not journalism at this point. It's not journalism. He is, in my opinion, pay to play, right? Whoever's going to cut him the check, he will play. He's going to play, and he's got an audience. He's got a following. I'll never take that from him. But a lot of people have followings, and that doesn't make them good people. Trump has a following. It does not make him good people. This man used to sick his homophobic ass followers on me and call me out and target me on social media. He's been a bully. And there's several examples of him doing it to queer people. He's just disgusting. And I can't be nice about it. And before he ever finds a nice thing to say about me, go find your neck. Go find your neck before you try to find me. But I know they're like, ooh, he just came hard. Yes, because I'm so tired of him. I really am. He's a jerk. He's mean. And again, I kept my mouth quiet about it but I'm in the era where I'm going to let the chopper clip, because a lot of times what we have found is protecting mean-spirited people in the industry does us no good. And a lot of people won't say it because he is this, he is that. Yes, he is a legend in his own right. Yes, he's been around the block for a very, very long time. But he's also a jerk. He's also mean. And that is why a lot of stuff, he could be so, a lot of stuff could be so much better, but he's in his own way. He's in his own way. And he's past his prime on so many levels because of his antics. I said it. And I stand on it. And I don't care. I don't. Because at a certain point, you just have to be real about folks that played the game. This man, throughout this campaign, got $350,000 from the Harris campaign. And yet he was masking himself like, oh, I'm this journalist. I'm a journalist. I'm doing interviews. I'm fair and da-da. No, you're not. You don't get money from campaigns. You don't. But his argument has been, I have a media company. I'm an entrepreneur. I get money. Yes, sir, get money. But stop calling yourself a journalist. You're a media personality. You're a content producer. You're rich. Cool. But you're not a journalist. And you're not somebody that we like. There's been so many examples of how this man has taken money from institutions and places while still not being very transparent to the public. This Win with Black Men stuff, like all of this stuff, some of this stuff, it was like, yo, you can't campaign and fundraise for any candidate while also covering them. That is why when y'all were asking me a lot, like, Ernest, why are you not here? Why are you not there? There's a line, y'all. There's a line. There is a journalistic line. No, I'm not going to sit up and interview white supremacists and give them the same space to breathe as a person that's not. But at the same time, I also got to be fair. Right? Like, I can't get paid from the Harris campaign and then say I'm a journalist. And then this dude makes these bad comparisons. He says, well, iHeartMedia, they getting money from the FCC to run ads. I got a media company. I ain't supposed to get no money. Let me be very clear with you. Here's how this works, Roland. Because I know I own a business. I own a media company, right? It's not a big old, I don't got 1,000 employees. I don't got that. But I own a media company. I am an entrepreneur. But let me tell you something about this. You do not get your money from political campaigns. And let me be very clear. If you're going to compare ad dollars, right? Let's cut to the chase. Because see, a lot of people have media literacy, so they'll buy into your faulty analogy because you're not talking to real journalists. But I'm going to talk to you and keep it a beam and let you know what's up and why what you did was messed up and what the real concern is. You own a media company, correct, right? You're talking about major media conglomerates, black media, right? Who own companies. Okay. You've been making this argument. I agree about the fact that black media, like radio stations, don't get the same ad share, revenue share. I agree with you on that. I agree with Byron Allen, who says it more articulately than you, right? Yes, this is true. That's a fair argument, right? But here's the difference. If you run the media company and the company runs ads. So let me be very clear. They run ads, and the FCC regulates that they must run ads from both candidates. So, for example, WRD Radio got ad money from the Harris campaign and the Trump campaign. They ran ads, but the ads do not impact the coverage. So let's be very clear. There were Trump ads on WRD. There were Harris ads on WRD. They have to run both. Your media company, quote unquote, did not run ads. So you didn't run Harris ads and Trump ads. You might have ran Harris ads, but you didn't run Trump ads. You didn't run both sides. The Trump campaign didn't give you no money. You didn't accept both. So you wasn't even playing fair. And your company's not even under the FCC. Okay, if you didn't even run it. So if you wanted to say that, let's say that, okay? You did not run both sides ads. Because that's the only pay for play there is on that. You're supposed to run ads. You didn't get ad dollar revenues where you ran both of the calendars because you're supposed to do both. You didn't do that. You cherry picked. You supported Harris. That's fine. But here's the problem. You are running the company and you're also being talent for the company. So it's one thing if you would have personally endorsed Harris and you want to do your own little thing. But you're running a media company. You say you do journalism. You're getting money from the campaign to pay expenses for God knows all the things. You're doing interviews exclusively with her. You're not interviewing Trump. You're not running Trump ads. You're not doing a balanced scale. So how can you compare yourself to an FCC regulated company? Like how can you compare that? At the end of the day, New Vision, your company, is pretty much a content creation company that basically creates whatever it wants, however it wants. You do not really follow journalism ethics to the T. You cherry pick what you want to do, how you want to do it, and you're willing to do whatever you want for the highest buck if it aligns with you. We saw you do it with the charter schools. You've gotten charter school checks. You've gotten campaign checks. You've always been doing this for quite some time. And so you are going to chase the money, right? And these lobby groups, these campaigns, they pick people like you to put you there because they say, oh, he's got a black audience. So how much does he cost so that we can have him push the agenda? $350,000. That's how much they gave him. That's what you did. And here's the thing. Your politics and the people you support, cool. I'm aligned with that. But what I'm not aligned with is how you have convoluted the industry with these antics. And there's a lot of people doing it. So now at this point, nobody knows what is real, right? Nobody knows what is real. This is no different from the far right picking and cherry picking their people. They pick their media people that they want. They pick their folks. They pick their Candace Owenses. They pick their podcasters and stuff. These are not journalists. They're not journalists. Roland Martin used to be a journalist, but Roland Martin's not a journalist anymore. Those ethics are all over the place. There's no way that you can say that you was a journalist covering the Harris campaign. You was not. You did content creation. You produced content, but you was not a journalist. I was a journalist. Baby, I didn't get no checks from the campaign. I know I was a journalist in the campaign because the campaign wanted to lock me the fuck out of shit because they knew that they could not control what the fuck was going to come out my mouth and what I was going to cover. You, however, you're pay to play, in my opinion. They gave you the access because they paid you the money. And you did what they did. You was a surrogate. You might as well have been a surrogate for the damn campaign. And so there are some people out here who feel betrayed by him. I don't want to say I feel betrayed by him because I knew he wasn't shit for quite some time, but I understand that there are people that are frustrated because we're going to find out on December 5th, baby, who all was paid to play. And what y'all are going to find is what I already knew is that a lot of your faves that walk around here talking about their journalists and media people, baby, they were all on that gravy train. And they used people like Roland where people like me, they didn't want. They didn't want me to be in a room and just do an interview because they wanted to control the narrative. And y'all did all that control narrative and y'all blinded the community from in areas of improvement. All I was trying to do was tell people, hey, there are some areas that needed some improvement. Guess that wasn't enough. But I tried to be optimistic. I didn't want to be the person to throw a black women's campaign under the bus. I did not want to be the negative Nancy and the Debbie Downer. I don't regret that. But this is what happens, y'all, when y'all want to pay for vibes and hype. This is what happens. I kept telling y'all a couple of earlier this year, I kept saying it was feeling like 2016. And that's how y'all got it. There you have it. So, into Philly, there's been a conversation about the SEPTA Arena. Not the SEPTA Arena, Floridian slip. The 76ers Arena. SEPTA has been in the news a lot this past week for a lot of reasons, There's been a lot of things going on with SEPTA. But before I get into SEPTA, I do want to address something that did come to my desk. New York mayor is heating up. There's a lot of people talking about the New York mayor. Michael Blake, who was a former state assemblyman, also a veteran of the Obama administration, he is joining a crowded field running against Mayor Eric Adams. People think Michael Blake might be that hope. A lot of people are showing their interest in going against Eric Adams. I feel like the Democratic establishment wants to get Mayor Eric Adams out of there. I think he is happy Trump got elected because he wants to get maybe, who knows? He trying to get that exemption. The Democrats have backstabbed him. I don't know. Will there be enough love for Eric Adams to get him up? Well, he black. Never mind. I don't know. But that election is next year. We're going to keep our eyes on that primary. Y'all better stay woke. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with that election. Because listen, the race is too crowded. Eric Adams might have a chance. But, he New York ain't the New York we used to know. They might want a Republican-esque energy from him. So we're going to see. But Michael Blake has thrown himself into the race. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there in New York. But back to Philly. So SEPTA, SEPTA's having trouble. There was this conversation about SEPTA going through a death spiral. That has been the term that's been used to describe their financial woes. Well, Josh Shapiro has used the flex funding to save SEPTA for now, up until July. They're still got some financial problems down the road, but at least there's enough money to keep them okay, keep the tracks going, keep the routes going, because it was getting serious. Them fares were going up, them hikes, it was getting really, really scared about what SEPTA's future was. A lot of, city council, a lot of people were saying, like, we need the state to step in to save SEPTA. And Shapiro did. So, the governor, anytime there's opportunity to be on the front of a stage and like the hero, he's going to do it. We love a white savior. No, we don't. But, here we go. But, look, Shapiro, once again, with I-95 and, transportation, he'll come out and do the right thing. But he made an interesting point. And he made a shot. He threw a shot that was compelling to me. During the press conference, he said something, and this was something that really made me go, that's why y'all love this podcast, because I catch the little things that predict what happens next. And sometimes my predictions are good, and sometimes they just don't. But there's something happening right now with this arena thing, and I've been paying attention to it, and something is interesting happening. Something strange is happening in us. Something bad is happening in us. Okay, yeah, I saw Wicked again, y'all. Anyway, so something is happening in city council. So, okay. He was at the press conference on Friday, which was a big photo op for city council. He was talking about SEPTA. And he saw Ryan Boyer, which Ryan Boyer is the leader of the building trades, the big dude, the big powerful dude, big labor boss, black labor boss. I like Ryan. Don't agree with Ryan on this situation, but Ryan and I are the type of guys where, we big powerful men. And, listen, I like Ryan Boyer. Let me just start by saying this before I get into the read about what this was about. I like Ryan Boyer because Ryan Boyer is very transparent about his wants. He's a very clear character. Like he's very clear. Like, what he wants. His passions. He does not hide. And he's very clear about what he wants. He's a straight shooter. And I can respect that about him. Regardless of wherever he stands on certain issues, I can appreciate that this man is a very clear-cut man about what he wants. And I can respect that about him. I wrote about him. One of my favorite all-time profiles I've ever done in my entire career was on Ryan Boyer. And it was a great piece because it actually foreshadowed. You should go back and read it because it tells you that everything politically we're experiencing right now, he was the man, the archetype. And a lot of people slept on him because this was after Johnny Doc's fall. And everybody was like, oh, Johnny Doc's going. There's never going to be a big union labor issue politics. I said, no, a new kingmaker is coming. And that kingmaker was Ryan Boyer. And he wanted Sherelle. And I called it way before anybody else saw it coming. But that man was someone not to mess with. People were sleeping on him. But I saw it. And here he is, big head honcho, one of the most influential men in the region, in the state, okay? Big damn deal. but I called it. So I always respect the fact that he's very clear about where he stands. I don't like ambivalent people. I don't like people that you don't know where they hot, they cold, they mercurial. I don't like that. And I'm a Libra, so I'm on the scales. I like black and white, keep it 100. One thing about him is that he supports the arena. He wants the arena because he wants to have more jobs for the building trades. The building trades will get jobs. He cares about contractor jobs. He wants to keep his men employed. That's what he is about. He's clear. I get it. Unions want what they want. The labor unions, the building trades, they want more jobs. They want contracts. They want money. Like, they are the opposition. They're very clear about what they want. That's just that. Now, Shapiro's there. He's talking about SEPTA. And he's like, I see Ryan Boyer got the 76ers hat on in here, because he came in with the 76ers hat at the event, which was a political statement, okay? Fashion matters. Fashion choices matter in politics. Pay very close attention to what people wear and how they wear it. He had on a 76ers hat. That was a political statement. That was Ryan, not Shapiro. That was Ryan Boyer when he came to this event. So Shapiro says in the crowd something along the lines of, while he's talking, I see Ryan Boyer got on the 76ers hat today. Well, I hope they would care about SEPTA just as much. That was a shot, and it was an important shot, and no one really was paying attention to that shot. And see, this is me, a masterclass in journalism and also explaining why things matter and why people should pay attention to details. Nobody covered that. No one noted that detail. That detail is important. That detail signals that there is a shift in perception about this 76ers arena situation, and it's deeper than what you think it is about, and I'm going to explain why. Why did Governor Shapiro make that remark and make that shot? That shot might have flew over most people's ears, which it did. It flew over most people's heads, but it did not fly over my head or my ears because I pay close attention. Maybe because I'm at city council like every week and I pay attention to details. Let me explain what that shot was about and why that shot matters. So, SEPTA has been dealing with the death spiral narrative and the concerns. Over the past couple of weeks, we have seen the hearings that's been taking place at City Hall. There's been lots of conversations about, the hearings, what's going on, is things moving in the right direction, blah, 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 blah. We've been hearing about this for quite some time now. Now, the big issue has been for a while is, where is, how is SEPTA going to play into this whole situation with the arena? We've been talking about public transportation, but this is a big deal because now I have receipts and I have details that provide. So, at the capacity to which the 76 Arena wants to put bodies inside that arena downtown, everybody's been like, okay, in order to succeed to make this work, the 76ers the research study shows, and the 76ers knows that 40% of their customers must ride SEPTA in order for there to make this all work with their conditions. If 40% of people ride SEPTA, right, to go to the games and etc., then that will make sure that traffic will be under control, that there will not be too much, congestion downtown. 40%, right, has to do it. That 40%. Now, SEPTA currently operates at every hour downtown or in that area where they're at. SEPTA operates like one stop or whatever every hour. Fun fact, I have not rode SEPTA physically in like 2019, y'all. It's been 5 years since I've actually rode SEPTA. I have not been on SEPTA in 5 years. I don't have no shame about it. People will say, well, why? Why haven't you? People say, well, what about, is it because of safety? No. I think because of the time. Like, I'm a fast girl. Like, I need to get from point A to point B. I just feel like riding SEPTA to go to certain places and stops. I think it's going to take more time for me. I need to, I need to get to point A to point B. And also, I don't want to say it's safety, but I just also don't feel like SEPTA is as clean at certain places and stops. Like if I'm on SEPTA, I go to SEPTA for stuff like Center City downtown. Like I don't ride SEPTA. Like if I'm on SEPTA, I'm on Market Frankfurt line. I'm not on any other line but that. Now my younger brother does SEPTA all the time. Like that's his thing. But he's also at Temple and he's close to a stop. You know what I think it is? I'm no longer close to a SEPTA stop. Like the bus, I don't ride the bus because the bus could get too packed. Also, I think the pandemic has just made me just like very nauseous around the idea of being in crowded public transportation. Like I feel like flu season, germs. I don't know. I just have not done it. That's just me. But I say all this to say that they need 40% of their customers to get on SEPTA. Currently, SEPTA is at a very glacial pace of like a stop every hour over there, which means that in order for there to be a serious high frequency of transportation to accommodate the number of people that will ride it in that traffic, they will need to have stops coming at 15 minutes. Every 15 to 20 minutes, I believe. They need to have routes going to meet the demand. Well, if you're going to speed up that process, that means there needs to be more trains, there needs to be more efficiency, there needs to be more investment in infrastructure, there needs to be more services provided, right? You just can't build a brand new station. You actually have to build frequency. You have to increase the routes. Like you have to increase all of that, right? To meet that demand. Because that's a major demand, right? You're going from one stop every hour to every 15 minutes. I mean, that's what it used to be back in the day, child. Listen, when I was on when I was back in SEPTA, when I used to ride SEPTA regularly, SEPTA used to come like back in 2010, 2011. That was the good old days when we had the tokens, baby. They ain't been the same since they stopped using the tokens, in my opinion. So ask me again when the last time I was on SEPTA, when it has tokens. That's a long ass time, isn't it? Tokens no longer exist. I have a token as a pin that I wear when I go to city council. Like I literally wear the token as a button, like a pin on me. Like it's a collector's item at this point. I miss those days of SEPTA tokens. But anyway, ever since they've had the tokens, so they say, when the last time you rolled SEPTA? When they used to take tokens. That's the last time I rolled SEPTA. So that was like 5 years ago. I haven't rolled SEPTA since. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because, the routes are shorter. They're cutting the routes. The wait time is much longer. And so it just become an inconvenience for me personally to ride SEPTA. I just can't do it. And I also don't live close enough to a SEPTA stop where it will take the amount of time it would take me to walk all the way down to my SEPTA L stop and then wait as long. That's too much time. I could have been on an Uber. I could have been there. That's just for me, right? But downtown Center City living, right? Here's the thing. They got to increase the routes. Like they got to increase the route. Like they got to increase the routes, the time spent, all that has to increase, but that takes an investment. So the investment rate of it is around $30 million. So the 76ers folks have said they're not going to spend any money on the services. They're not invested in any of it. They think that needs to be the city and everybody else needs to pay for that. Excuse me? So you're trying to put an arena in an area that nobody asked you to put it in. And now you're asking the city to fork up the change to pay for the SEPTA routes? What? So that's another additional cost that you want the city to pay for when, quite frankly, South Philly is good enough. Listen, y'all already got an area where people are riding SEPTA and using it to get down there to South Philly to go to the games. You want to change and reroute all this shit and you don't want to pay for none of that? No. The 76ers don't want to invest in SEPTA or any of that. No. So that has come up now. And so there are people that are like, there are going to be additional costs that's going to make this harder for everybody. So at this point, some of you all might be asking a good question. Why in the hell did Sherelle support this? That's a good question that a lot of you all are asking. Why in the hell does Sherelle do this? And I'm like, that's, That's a good question. And here's the answer. And this is my theory. Sherelle had no other choice but to support the arena. I think that she was forced in many ways, the public pressure, the lobbying, the lobbyists, the labor, the unions. I think that Sherelle is strategic in a certain way where I think she realized there was no way that she could not support this. She had to support this. Because if she didn't, what was going to happen is that city council, because they're cowards, they would have backstabbed her. They would have said, oh, wow, we need, we got to keep the Sixers in Philly. That was an economic opportunity. She should have considered this. Maybe we could have worked out a deal. They would have backstabbed her. The narrative would have been from certain national media and groups would have been, oh my God, how could she turn down this economic opportunity? This could have blah, blah, blah. Like she would have been viewed as the bad guy. They would have vilified her, Chung Lee. They would have made her the target of it. So I think Sherelle made a mindset of, look, I know this deal is trash, but I could spend all day negotiating this deal. The 76ers want a decision to be made by the end of this year. I need to make a decision that activates city council. So she did not negotiate the deal, I think, as much as she could have, because to do that would have made it less time for city council to make a decision. And so I think she wanted to give them enough time to make a decision. But I also think she did not want this to be a decision that fell only on her shoulders. So I think the diplomatic thing she did was say, look, I'm going to say yes, right? But I need everybody else to work their magic. So everybody now has a role to play. City council has a role to play. And so now the burden falls on city council. You can't blame Sherelle now. If the arena fails, which I hope it does, city council will kill it. The good thing is that city council is drawing out the process through hearings. So if the deal gets canceled, which I hope it do, Sherelle won't look bad because Sherelle gave it a chance to be heard. She could have killed it on sight, but she didn't. And I think that's a good model in leadership, right? That she could have been the person to say no, but then a lot of people would have held that against her. So I think that it was smart for her to say yes for the idea of letting the process breathe. Also, she's a member of city council, so she knows that city council was never going to let the deal be how it's going to be. If this passes, the deal will go through so many changes to arrive at what it needs to be. But I don't think that the way that 76 are acting, they seem very stubborn not to make any changes. And maybe because of that, this might spell disaster for them. Maybe they don't care as much. Maybe they don't want to make no changes. And if they don't make those changes, they're forfeiting the future of this deal getting done. So in a way, I'm kind of happy that this played out the way it is. And now that I think about it, I think Sherelle made the smart strategic move politically. So city council has to deal with it. And if city council wants it, they want it. And if they don't, they don't. But at the end of the day, I think that what's going on with the SEPTA situation might be the scapegoat. So I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it do. We'll see. So this week's Ask Ernest, you all asked me this question, and I have some thoughts, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. Not as much because I feel like it's 2024, and at this point, what is it to say? But I do want to address it. So Khalid, which is an R&B singer, black R&B singer, has come out as being gay after he was outed by some guy. I don't know who the hell this man is, but this guy on the internet, kind of outed him and, shared the issues in their relationship or situation. And he put it out for the world and the people were talking, and Khalid just went ahead and just said, look, I'm gay. It wasn't none of y'all business. It is what it is. But let's move on. People say, what do I think about this? Look. Everybody has the right to share their viewpoints. I think this is my thought about Khalid's situation. First of all, I'll just say this. I wasn't surprised, but I don't think he was necessarily hiding it. I just think he did not want to be the censor of his career, because I do, as I begin to observe pop culture and as a gay man who's out and proud to be out, of course, I do want to say that I do think, and I think we're realizing this too with another person I'm going to talk about later in this podcast, but I am starting to sense that we do project certain things on artists that may not want to go in that direction. Now, with Khalid, I think he wants to make just really forward progressive R&B music, and I think he wants to be able to explore various ideas and sounds. And I think, unfortunately, with the way that R&B is currently done, is very cishet and it's very heteronormative. I think that's a lot about all pop music, to be honest. And I think that once you're outed, there's an expectation that everything you do needs to change, right? So he did a duet with Normani, Love Lies, which was beautiful. Somebody will say, well, Sam Smith did something with her Dancing with a Stranger, that they did something with her, so why can't that be the case? Well, see, there's always a double standard with white queer artists or white artists in general when it comes to working with black artists like Normani. I just feel like it's harder for black queer artists to have those type of collaborations, and allow it to take the same level of seriousness. Like, we have not seen Frank Ocean do any collaborations with any women artists since he came out as much, right? I mean, he was featured on the Beyonce song, but it wasn't like a romantic duet. And I think Khalid likes to still have the ability to do traditional R&B without having everything change based on the sexuality orientation. I think that's a fair point. Like, I think about Hollywood actors, right? Where, like, Jonathan Bailey is a white man. He's in Wicked. He's gay. He's openly gay. He's also in what is that? Bridgerton. He's in Bridgerton, but he gets to play straight roles. It's not that white gay men in Hollywood has been able to have the ability to be duality. Not as many, but there are. But black gay men, if they come out, it's really hard for them to get those roles. Domingo Coleman is an exception to the rule. Domingo Coleman is gay, he's queer, and he's been able to play in some roles, but I don't know how long. Like, will they allow him to do it? I mean, he was in The Color Purple, but he played like the abusive bad man, but he played a straight character, right? But it's not that many black gay men, I think, in Hollywood that's allowed to have the nuance in that. And we're still trying to figure that out. And so I think with Khalid, I can see that now coming out, there's going to be expectations now, right? That's kind of unfair, right? Like, oh, now people are going to expect him to do music videos where his love interest is a man. And I think I want that or whatever. Maybe he doesn't necessarily he wants to have the ability to be a thing for all his artists, right? I think he wants the Usher career. Not that I'm saying Usher is gay or queer. I think Usher just has had the ability to have a duality and an appeal where he doesn't, I don't know what I'm saying. Usher identifies as straight. So I'm just simply saying that I think there's a lot of artists in R&B that want to have fluidity in their expression and creative expression, and they don't want the sexuality conversation to limit them. And I think sometimes when gay people or queer people enter the industry, we do get pigeonholed and we do get limited to a certain extent, which is sometimes unfair to the artistic expression, that can limit an artist to a certain degree, while there was always a question around Khalid's sexuality, the ambiguity of it never took shape. I just hope that fans, the public, even though fans have been acting very immature, but I hope that fans and people just allow him to be the artist he is, continue to make the music he want to make, and don't necessarily put pressure on him to change up his style, his lyrics, or anything. Let him just be who he is and just make the music he wants to make without feeling that. Because I do sense that. I do, I've been out for most of my entire career. Y'all always know me as gay. And that was just a part of who I am. Who I am, and I have no shame about that. But there are some people that don't have that. And I think that can always happen, and some people struggle with that, where they have this struggle where they're like thinking to themselves, oh my goodness, do I have to change up my whole apparatus. Like I didn't have to do that myself. Like I write about politics, social justice issues. Like my voice is around that, so it's connected to my identity in a way that it is about a part of that. But not everybody is connected to that, right? That's not necessarily their ministry, their space of rationale and thinking. So I get that, I understand that. And so I've learned through time that, you know, it's to each their own, for sure. But then at the same time, I will say that I just kind of like that he just kind of was just like, yeah, it's here. It is what it is. And he moved on. And he's not trying to like brand it in a way where he's trying to turn it into like a song or a single like certain people. He is just like, I just want to get back to my life. But it's so funny because all of these on all these like Black queer pages and groups, they all like clinging to him now and all this other stuff. I'm just like, okay, y'all, don't thirsty much. Let me be quiet. Because listen, he was already out in his circle, baby. So if he wasn't looking at you then, he ain't looking at you now. He already knew what he wanted. Let me just say that. But clearly he likes to have a more discreet life. And I think he most likely will probably stay down that road. Which I think some people are going to be annoyed about because it's going to be like they're going to expect him to go to certain things, do certain things now. And I don't know. I just feel like that pressure shouldn't be on a person either. It's not to say they're ashamed, but maybe they're just not trying to have they don't want people to have certain expectations for them that's outside of what their level is. Maybe they just don't feel like they don't have to do all this additional work. I don't know. I just have learned and recognized people who are not built to do this type of work, I don't want them to. Because if you platform certain people just because of their identity, that's what happened with Caitlyn Jenner, to be honest. Caitlyn Jenner, because Caitlyn is trans, right? Transgender, she identifies as being trans. Now all of a sudden, people thought, oh, you got to be this trans advocate. No, she was just a rich white woman. That's it. She was racist. She's got internalized transphobia and homophobia going on with her. Like, that's it. But the problem is that they just didn't realize, okay, Caitlyn just wanted to transition and Caitlyn just wanted to go live her white racist life. No, it was we got to embrace her. We got to make her an activist. We got to make her this voice in this space and give her this award and all this crap. It's like, we're just giving people awards for existing. We just giving people awards for what? Like, that era of celebrity culture, I am so over. It's like, oh, what they did was so brave. It's like, she's rich. She lives in California. She's a rich white trans woman that lives in Hollywood. It does not get more safe than that. A rich white woman living in Hollywood, it doesn't get more safe than that. So I don't know where the bravery was, but at that time, that was the obsession. All these awards, all of these like for what? And then they got a taste of that and then realized very quickly, okay, now I want to be the token. It's so many other transgender people popping up that now I'm not the only one. So what did Caitlyn Jenner do? Caitlyn Jenner said, I'm going to go to the right because now I want to be the only right-wing trans person that's going to be the pick-me, and I'm going to support all the shit that they do. Like, listen. We done seen this play. I done seen this play. We've seen it, right? And so that's what happened. It was all a grift. It was all about me, and attention. They were not built for that. I feel like with Khalid, he might want to, be an advocate and come out and do things. But if that's not who he wants to be and do, it is what it is. Because what we don't need is another person like a Caitlyn Jenner or somebody that gets a platform, says they're out, and then starts going on TV and going out and doing these dumbass interviews on the Breakfast Club, being a pick-me, saying some dumb shit, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, man, they should have stayed in the closet. They should never came. So respect the what people are telling you. He is telling you he just wants to get back to his music. Let him cook. Because you could get your hopes up too high, and then you be like, there's a reason, y'all. There's a reason. And then lastly, because since we're talking about gay advocates, I know y'all was asking about this, and I'm going to talk about this really quick and keep it moving, because I'm so tired of this person, and I'm over it, and it just, I have some friends, some people in the industry that I'm cool with, but this is one matter that just divides us all. Jussie motherfucking Smollett. So there is a talks about how the Illinois Supreme Court had reversed the judgment on him. Let me be very clear what that meant and what that means and what that does not mean. There was a situation where after he was charged, when the DA's office in Chicago had dropped the charges, right? The Illinois Supreme Court feels like it was a double jeopardy, like he was tried twice after they put in a special counsel to then re-prosecute him, all that. So for doing that part, they said that after the charges was dropped and that was done, he should have not been retried again or put through it again. And they felt like that was a misuse of, the law. And so that was that they reversed that decision. So he does not have, I think he'll be expunged. He will not have that. That's not on him anymore. That is what they've said. That's the decision. It's a technicality, y'all. Calm down. What this does not mean is that the likelihood of him lying, whatever, I think there's some people that have now gotten to the point, which I do appreciate. There are some people that are a little delusional, respectfully, I'll say that, and think that he was innocent. They believed him and this happened to him. Child, bye. I'm sorry. That's a lie. That's cap. That boy lied. I believe he lied. That's my opinion, okay? And at the end of the day, during that trial, the evidence, all the stuff that came together, he did it. Facts on facts. Now, with the people that are on the same side of me with the law and the criminal justice system, I don't think the man needs to go to jail. I don't want him to be locked up. I don't need all that. I don't support all that. I get that, right? I don't believe all that. So I'm not the person that's like, put him in jail forever. He needs to go to jail. I don't believe that either. But see, this is the problem that I have with some of my progressive friends that be all in this abolition shit. Y'all cherry pick who the fuck y'all want to exonerate and who y'all don't. And I see how y'all do and how y'all play, okay? Because it's pretty politics and the colorism of it all. He's light-skinned. Y'all think he cute with his little curly hair. So y'all want to justice for Jussie because he was y'all little friend. Y'all used to go to a little... Let me be quiet. I don't care about all that. I don't. I really don't fucking care. I don't care about celebrities like that anymore. Celebrities, to me, should be the most held accountable for shit if you rich and you come from money because you should fucking know better. So I don't really care about that. Here's my thoughts. I don't think he needs to go to jail. I don't think he needs to go through prison. Honestly, the reason why I will never fuck with him and I don't care about him and I'm just over him, I'm happy the man's not going to jail. I'm happy the man's free from prison, right? But you are a liar. And my issue with the lying too, and this is the thing I keep telling these people that like go ham for him and I'm like, I can't get with it, is that I'm not on the whole tip of he needs to go to jail, he lied. I get that. But I don't gotta fucking care about him either. Like stop trying to, like I just was so annoyed when like Mark Lamont Hill and they had, what's her name? She be everywhere. Angela Davis, who's, Angela Davis, who came out and spoke. But it's like, y'all trying to act like this man's a martyr. Why do we do, this is when, so many thoughts. And I thought I was going to be brief, but I do have thoughts. This is why I feel like we saw a shift in progressive movements in these past 4 years. You see the downfall of Black Lives Matter. You see a downfall of some of these black activist groups because there was a lot of grifting, there was a lot of capping, there was a lot of lying. And what annoyed me is that the everyday people, right? Everyday folks who's not caught up in all of this social justice, they were following this shit for a minute. But when the corruption started happening internally within the movement, they started saying, how come you're not holding these people as accountable as you want to hold these cops? How come you're not holding these people accountable the same way you telling the rest of us, no justice, no peace? Why is it that all of a sudden, when it comes to these motherfuckers, it's let's hold grace and space? But these people out here done lied to people, done grifted people, done manipulated people. And some of these people have been abusive, but all of a sudden, it's about grace. Like, I just think there was a lot of hypocrisy. And I think a lot of people who was on the fence, who was misinformed, it was easy for them to lose empathy and lose a lot of compassion and nuance for this movement because of the fact that a lot of people in the space did not keep that same energy. And then people who did keep that same energy, people like myself and others that was like, whoa, 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 what's going on here? We were vilified. So you know what we did? We put our hands up and said, fuck y'all then. I'm going to go back and mind my business because y'all not serious. This is a lie. This is a scam. I don't trust you all because I thought we was really about the work and calling people in and holding people accountable. And we didn't really do that. A lot of folks in this movement lied for clout, stole money, manipulated people, abused people, took advantage of people, exploited people. And this was happening in the spaces. And no one said anything. People swept it under the rug. And that is how we got to the point where there was a divestment. Because then white people, not that they matter in their opinions, but let's just say that when you were trying to make this a global movement, they said, well, shit, we all must be dirty then. They doing shit, we doing shit. We all the same. That wasn't correct thinking, but that was what they started thinking. Like, well, shit. Well, everybody doing it. Well, I guess we ain't no different. We just didn't set examples. We didn't set real, honest examples about what we wanted. And we could have. But people were biased. And the egos were inflated. And people wanted to be celebrities, D-Ray. People wanted to be, famous, Sean King. People wanted to be all the things. Those founders of Black Lives Matter. There was a lot of money. And a lot of abuse. And so during that era, I think about Jussie Smollett, and that should have been a moment where I'm not saying people should have completely abandoned the dude, but there should have been a real conversation of being like, bro, now let's keep it 100. You lied. We love you. We forgive you, but I need you to take a time out. No, what we did was we said, you know what? The system is flawed. Yes, the system is flawed. Fuck the police. Okay, that's how you feel. That's how you feel. The justice system is wrong. All that's right. But two things can be true at the same time. The system could be flawed, police could be corrupt, and motherfuckers could also be liars. And when people was willing to be so obsessed with the martyrdom of fake ass celebrities to say, you know what, we just not going to talk about that. I said, oh, I can't fuck with y'all because this is delusion. He did it. He lied. Should he go to jail? No, don't care about him going to jail. Not in the business of putting him in jail, but I definitely think he needs some real help. And honestly, I don't want him in none of these spaces. I don't want to share any bread with him or any space with him until this man can have some humility and some honesty to be real and just say, you know what? I lied. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I was going through a mental health issue. I was going through some issues in my life. I just was desperate for fame. It took over me and I need to work on myself. That right there, I could have said, you know what? I appreciate your transparency. I appreciate your honesty. That brother getting some help. He went through some things. You know what? There's a space and place for that. I would have been there for that. But this man continues to walk around here like he's a victim when he literally created a fucking narrative that was a waste of resources, time, and set some shit back. I'm over it. So, great that the justice system worked for this rich, light-skinned man. That, yes, that there was a technicality. I'm happy that he was served justice because you shouldn't be, getting double jeopardy. You shouldn't be tried for a crime and charges. I get that. I'm happy that he doesn't have to deal with the unfairness of the system. But outside of that, I'm not about to run around here and just be like, oh my goodness, Jussie, victim. I'm just not gonna be fake like that. Y'all can be fake. Y'all can pretend and hold yourselves to these types of false ass, disingenuous ideas around restoration and restorative justice, but let's be motherfucking 100. He lied. At the end of the day, be real about it. At the end of the day, do you deserve to be in mass incarceration? No. Do you deserve to be abused by the legal justice system? No. But do you deserve me to have respect for you? Nah, I'm good on you. Just get, back up from me, because I can't trust you. I can't trust you. I don't trust him. And the fact that, I feel like there is no trust without accountability. If a person cannot be held accountable, then you cannot trust them. This man thinks he's above approach. He's above accountability. His arrogance thinks he is. How do I know? Because I was on the phone with that man for 3 hours. I have interviewed that man. I was in deep communication. Y'all know, y'all can go back and watch that episode, listen to this episode about it. I was in consistent communication with Jussie during that period, during that trial. I got his number. I was texting him. I still have his cell phone number. I have not spoken to him. He does not talk to me. We have not talked in years. But I talked to that man in depth for those 3 months leading up to the trial. That man told me his version. That shit was not sticking. I pushed back. That man did not have any comeback for me. I told that man to his face that I thought his story was not consistent. I told that man that shit was shaky. He said, well, wait till the trial. More is going to come. And I said, well, I'll wait till the trial. I watched that trial. Whatever he thought was going to be the receipts that was going to come out, they never really came. It never came out. It never really showed the story. I'm going to just leave it at that. Godspeed. I'll leave it at that. So, moving on. I see a lot of you all on Blue Sky. Y'all see that I have an account that I don't really use. I'm not on there. I'm on there. I have an account because I wanted to get my handle before somebody took my handle. But as you know, I'm not on there. I'm not on Threads. I'm not on there. I'm reminded at times like this, especially what then went down, that a lot of y'all cheated and went back to Twitter because Kendrick's new album came out. We're going to talk about Twitter's album. We're going to talk about Kendrick's album in a minute. But let me get back to this. Let me tell y'all this about Blue Sky, because some of y'all are getting a little excited to go on there and shit. And I'm hearing mixed reviews. A lot of y'all say it's mid. A lot of y'all say there's a lot of tech bros. A lot of y'all say the conversation's a little bit not good. A lot of y'all say that there's porn on there. And you done found your little porn vessels to watch and stuff, I suppose. A lot of you all have said that Blue Sky is just too good. It's like the good place. And y'all want a little bit of spice. It's just too basic. Everybody's pretending, and it has not gotten messy on Blue Sky enough for your interest and your taste. Quite frankly, I just feel like there's an oversaturation. A lot of people are going to Threads. I hear Threads is just dry as fuck. I just feel like, don't y'all realize that y'all just making these social media accounts rich? Everybody just keep going on 1,000 social media. Can y'all stop? Can we just pause for a second? Don't y'all see what's going on? That they're just capitalizing off of all these different outlets. Do y'all really do y'all really need to go on all these platforms? Here's my thoughts. If everybody migrates to another platform, are you going to escape the trash and the filth of what made you leave the other platform? I mean, all these are owned by old rich white men. Well, not old. A lot of rich white tech bros, right? So let me tell you the real reason why I think y'all need to watch out about Blue Sky. Because y'all ain't paid attention to this. And no one's been talking about it. But I'm here to tell y'all it right here. Blue Sky is not protecting anybody's actual physical presence on the site. So everybody's public right now. You could go and look at all of your information on Blue Sky. If you have a Blue Sky account right now, all of your information is there. And if y'all think that y'all can change your handle names, baby, you know that you can actually now, the way that you can track accounts that does not use their actual handles is, Google image search. If you Google image search a person, any image search of them is going to come up with any account that's connected to them. So if you have a messy fake account, or you have an account where you don't use your real names or your real handles, you know that people can track you still through your image search, if you have an identical image. So they can look at your LinkedIn picture, which you're going to have your picture, and they're going to image search that, and they're going to find any account connected to you with that image. So if you're using a personal image of yourself, they're going to connect to any account to that. I will tell you that there's a situation that happened with somebody I know. This is very messy. They had an account, a certain account, let's just say, and they image searched the person's image, and they used the avatar for that account, and it was connected. I said, see, let's understand that with Blue Sky, as of right now, all of your posts are public on Blue Sky. There's no private accounts. There's no public accounts. There's no locking your tweets. None. All of it is public. So everybody can see your posts and stuff. So just be mindful out there on Blue Sky. And that's why I don't want it, because I block people. I don't want folks checking me. Now, I know that it's hard for me who I am to block people, but I want people to know that they don't have access to me and they cannot respond to me. They cannot communicate with me. I don't like the fact that Blue Skies right now, it's open sesame. It's open season. Anybody can go on anything. And as of right now, it might be safe, but if y'all want to pop off like it is, that's not a safe space. That's going to be another problem waiting to happen. So I'm just going to keep my ass on Twitter, X, whatever the fuck. I'm still calling it Twitter until I feel like I don't want to. I'm not really on there as much anymore. But I will say a lot of the tweets, the engagement, a lot of the news is still happening on that site. Still happening. Which is why I bring up my next points about movies and music. Because let me just say before I transition that all the hype around Kendrick's album, Twitter was the one. Y'all ran back to Twitter. I saw y'all. I seen you get back on there. Because y'all wanted to know where the discourse was, what people thought about the album, what people's thoughts were, what the shade was, what the memes was. Because these other sites is not popping. They're not popping. I'm sorry. Threads is dry. It is boring. Blue Sky is just, I don't know. I just have not heard that many crazy things about it. It ain't lit. And I don't need to go on no more platforms. Listen, y'all got me in Clubhouse? And I told y'all Clubhouse was gonna fall, but y'all just thought Clubhouse was gonna last forever. I knew that wasn't gonna last forever. Y'all just got rid of Clubhouse. I just want to go back and tell you, remember when y'all act like Clubhouse was gonna be the best thing ever and it was gonna be the future and everybody was gonna leave Twitter? I just think it's funny how y'all just keep thinking people gonna leave every time. I remember when Jack first left Twitter and Elon took over Twitter. There was a mass exodus and all of y'all said y'all was gonna leave and y'all was gonna go to Blue Sky. Remember that? Remember Blue Sky was when y'all first got Blue Sky. That's when I first got the Blue Sky account. And then y'all jumped on Threads and then everybody just, no one went back to Threads. Oh, okay. How's Threads going? Oh, it's not going? Oh, okay. Because at the end of the day, the people make social media. No platform defines the people. As long as the people make the platform. And to be honest, I think a lot of people have social media fatigue. I think that when people left Twitter, I don't think people left to go find something else. I think some people just left it altogether. Like, to be honest, I'm not interested in going to another social media platform. I'm just kind of not giving too much of my energy on all the social media platforms. Like Facebook, I'm on there. I'm, a little bit. LinkedIn, I'm just not giving my all to the social media space in general. Like, I'm on there. I post a couple of things, but I'm just not I think the new era is that people want to see the work outside. I feel like social media in general has gotten so fake across the board. Everybody done hacked it. The code has been hacked. Nothing's natural anymore. Nothing's real anymore. Everything going viral is very rare now. Everybody manufactures viral. People buy ads to boost their views. No one's talking about things like they used to. Something can be a moment today. We'll forget it tomorrow. Instant gratification is a bitch. Everything is just kind of, I feel like, manufactured and feels so fake in a way that I feel like actually everybody's off of it. I think everybody's getting faded. I feel like stuff is just starting to just be everything just feels so manufactured. And I think what will happen is that people are going to retreat from things because they're going to be so over it. That's how I think liquor happened. I don't know if y'all noticed, but liquor sales have been going down in the world. Liquor sales are decreasing. It is a crisis. Liquor sales are going down. People are not drinking as much anymore. And I think part of it is that too many people want to do it. They say that there's so much wine in the world, that the world supply of wine is overstocked, that there's more wine than we need. So if you're thinking about creating a wine brand, go throw that away. Nobody wants wine anymore. Or they want wine, but nobody wants a new wine brand. So if you don't got a wine brand out, nobody wants a new wine brand. I mean, there's more wine on the planet. No, nobody wants to buy, nobody wants to buy wine as much. Wine is just, a lot of this stuff is just we're at a point where everybody just is drinking less. They say that part of what's causing that is the new trends within diet culture. So Ozempic has led to a lot of people not eating junk food, processed foods anymore. Like there's been massive decreases in just junk food across the board. They say Ozempic is causing, like there's been a reduction in people wanting to snack culture. A lot of stuff is just like, it's not hitting like it used to hit. Even the non-alcoholic beverage market is starting to fizzle, where not only are people just not drinking, but people just don't even play with liquor. So even the market around certain types of non-alcoholic beverages, that is starting to fizzle a little bit too. Like, because I guess people woke up and realized, I don't want to drink a cocktail, but I also don't want to pay for a mocktail at the same cost, which I knew was a joke a long time ago, but people, I just didn't understand the mocktail culture, to be honest. I get why people drink mocktails, but I was just like, child, you might as well go get you some juice. You're going to spend the same cost for a cocktail that you ain't spent for a mocktail. You don't see the problem with that? I just felt like, to me, that wasn't making sense for a while, but I guess people are getting hip to it. But I just think that we're in a society where people are starting to cut back on certain things. Like, we're over the super hype of things. Like, massive, flashy hype around a lot of shit. People are getting tired of it. People are aging out of it. This generation is like, fuck this. I don't want to spend another dime. Fuck this. I don't want to do too much. And if they want to do it, they want the real McCoy. Like, that's the thing about me. Like, me, at this point, if I want to do luxury, I want high end. I want the best of the best. I want shit that's going to make me feel, smell, and look good. The real shit. I don't want no half-ass shit. I don't want no fake. I don't want to fake the funk. I want the real thing. And there's just a lot of like fakeness happening in the industry. And I think that's shaping it. So just some food for thought. Movies. So Glicked. Glicked was a thing. The box office did what it did. Wicked and Gladiator did their thing. I saw both. I love them both. But the box office did their thing. Wicked and Gladiator 2 like had a hit. You know what I'm saying? There were some moments though about it. So there was a 27% decline in domestic ticket sales compared with before the pandemic. Studios left no marketing drum unthumped in releasing the movies. So Hollywood was back. Everybody's excited. Women flocked to go see Wicked, which was a rated PG film. It's Act 1. The Gladiator 2, the rated R sequel, 24 years in the making. They both did their big one. They sold an estimated $384 million in tickets in the box office worldwide. Wicked came in at number 1 at the box office at $95 million, which is not bad. Okay, the third highest opener for a movie. Gladiator 2 came in with $56 million in the box office, for worldwide release overseas. That came out earlier this month, that made about $200 million. But this weekend's two strong openers, they said, openers are invigorating a box office that they said fell apart after a really good summer. The box office was doing good during the summer, but then during the fall, it kind of flopped a little bit. But the bounce back really did do its big thing. There was a lot of marketing though. Wicked definitely did their big one. The Wickeding marketing was crazy. $95 million opening at a box office for a musical is nothing to sneeze at. And that's the gag. Because a lot of people, we had this conversation with The Color Purple, earlier last year. And, there was a narrative that, musicals don't really do good at the box office. People don't want to see musicals at the box office. I've always argued that if it was a good musical, it was marketed correctly, and it was given the right amount of marketing, it will do well. Okay? Wicked is an incredibly great box office. Musical, Broadway musical. And so there was a lot of built-in hype, one from new fans and people that's always wanted to see that musical on Broadway. So for to do $95 million opening weekend is a triumph. And it's a reminder that we do want good musicals. Clearly not Cats, more Chicago, and more Dreamgirls, you know what I mean? The Color Purple was good, But, I just think that there was a lot going on during the holiday season that I don't think they were ready. But I also think Wicked did a good job of not putting it out during Christmas. I think Thanksgiving was the right temperature. You know, Gladiator 2's rated R. I mean, 56 million after already being on a global box office for $220 million. Not bad. They did their big one. So they did a good job. I mean, overall, they did a big one this box office season. I thought Gladiator 2 might have done more than Wicked, but I also recognize Wicked was rated PG. So all the kiddies got to go see it with their parents, and a lot of women went to go see it. And also Broadway stands. I think everybody loved it. But as you can imagine, too, there was a cost, right? Gladiator 2 was cost $350 million to make and market. It will definitely make its money back clearly worldwide. They said that the two movies, including what went down with Wicked, they said together, Wicked and Gladiator 2 will easily cost more than $5 million to make and market combined. So it was a lot of money to market this. I mean, that's a lot of money, y'all, to like market a movie to get people to go out to the movies. And the thing about it is that with the box office, the way it is, the shape of the films, it takes a lot to make people go out to the movies nowadays. Going to movies is more like a novelty. There used to be a time people go to movies every single week. There was a time in my youth when I used to go to movies like every single weekend, like or every other week. Like it was like a thing. Y'all, movies, I might go, maybe 2 times a year, 3 times a year now. And that's been ever since the pandemic, y'all. Like, I don't go to the movies that often. And if I do, there has to be a strong reason. But y'all know movies come out every week. Every weekend, a movie comes out in the theaters. But yet, if I'm only going 2 to 3 times a year, and I'm like a target demographic, like I'm the movie goer, like I'm the demographic, they won't go into movies. That says something. That's what y'all get. All that streaming. Y'all, everybody wanted to cut. Look what's happening with NBC Universal, then in Comcast. Now Comcast is like, look, we NBC, they don't want to have MSNBC. They just want NBC News, they NBC brands. They cut off all these other groups, MSNBC and all this other stuff, CNBC. They separating them from the family. It's getting interesting, this media landscape. People not paying attention. I've been keeping an eye. It's about to get real. For real. Stay woke. So on to Kendrick Lamar. He released an album called GNX. I don't care. I don't. Look, here's the thing. The album came out. It's good. He raps. He can rap. What's new? I guess I'll entertain one bit. I don't think this is the album. I think that this is a holdover. If it was to be the album, it could stand on its own merits. But I have the sense that this is like, because he's so talented, people could confuse this as an album. I think this is like a very good holdover before he drops a real serious studio album where he's really going to put in some artistry, some craft into it. But I don't think that this is that. I just think this is just something that, given all of the anticipation, he didn't want They Not Like Us to just be the only thing. I think he's riding off the momentum, and so this is going to be his reason to ride. So the fans went crazy. They love it. And it's just like, one of my friends, I'm not going to name them, but they were like, Kendrick just dropped. I'm like, I really want to say, I don't give a fuck. Who cares? And I didn't do that because they just was in the, but I'm just like, and I'm not talking specifically about them. I'm just talking in general. I saw people just go up about it, and I'm just like, this is what they want us to do, y'all. Like, I'm tired of it. Like, black men in hip hop, with the exception applies, and Common, I'll give Common that, did not say nothing about an issue that concerns us. I know there are women right now doing the 4B thing or the 4H thing. I don't know, the 4B thing where they're not having sex and or whatever. I'm doing that with celebrity culture. I am just not giving these people that level of my attention, my enthusiasm anymore. And I'm going to make this make sense. Let me be very clear. Kendrick's album is cute, it's cool, it's whatever. It's a fucking album. I mean, whatever. You like the songs. If you like it, you like it. It's cool, it's cool. But the days of me unpacking and giving more meta thought to his work and some of these other celebrities, because I'm going to be very clear about my list, because I do got a list. I did keep track. Those days are over, because celebrities, a lot of them, rich people, let's call them what they are, betrayed us at a time. We, the people, betrayed us at a time when we need the most. This guy, right, gets to be treated like a prophet. Like, oh, he keeps it real. He keeps it deep. But honestly, I have thoughts about that too. But I gotta keep my train of thought. So the issue with him is, like, during this entire election cycle, you said nothing about it. You're supposed to be this conscious rapper that is so deep in society and this and this and this. But yet you find yourself invisible and hidden on these issues that matter. Same thing with Drake. Same thing with a lot of these mainstream artists. It's like we had an election, and there could have been an opportunity to use these platforms to really increase engagement, spread the word, do the thing. You could talk about Taylor Swift all day, but Taylor Swift did it. You could talk about Beyonce all day, but Beyonce did it. A lot of the women did it. A lot of the women did show up. Look, Charlie XCX, I don't even know if she can even vote in the U.S. She's British, but she did. But a lot of people, a lot of these rappers, these men specifically, just stay silent, didn't say nothing, didn't get involved. But also the same ones that we're supposed to believe got these very deep thoughts about society and all this shit, but you never show up and use it for nothing. But you always want to sell something. You always want to market something. You always want to take the moment to make us, distract us with all your personal shit. I don't fucking care about Lil Wayne, the Super Bowl, and your fucking beef. I'm sorry. I'm too busy hoping that gay marriage does not get killed off the planet. I'm just hoping that, reproductive rights don't. And I just don't care as much about a lot of the nonsensical things with celebrities. Like, unless it is like in my friend circle and stuff, I just don't want to pay no more unnecessary money, time, energy into institutions and spaces that don't give me some level of fucks. Look, again, Taylor Swift is a capitalist. She makes some money, whatever. But you know what? Taylor Swift told her millions of fans, even though those white girls didn't listen, hey, here's where I stand on this. Here's my politics. Here's what y'all need to do. Here's what I want y'all to do. At least you stand for something. I don't know what the fuck Kendrick's politics are. And guess what? I have thoughts that they're not the ones we think they are, y'all. And we've been ignoring it because we are all want to be stands. But Kendrick Lamar's politics, let's be fucking real, there's some red flags there. But y'all want to give people these passes. Look, y'all have given Michael Jackson a pass. Whatever. But everybody can't get a fucking pass. And everybody don't deserve a fucking pass. And my own mindset with Kendrick is, I just don't know who this man really is. And honestly, the songs are cute, but I'm just never going to go back into the world that I was with him many, many years ago. Because at a certain point, you just have to look at people for who they are and what they are and realize they're all the same. And so I feel like that's the way Kendrick Lamar is. He is cosplaying. And look, Drake was in no place to diss him because, baby, the cops calling the kettle black, but they're pretty much the same people. They really are. They really are. What I mean by this is there's misogyny there with both of them, right? They not like us still doesn't sit well with me fully. And I never get a chance because everybody's so obsessed with the want to be cool and hip and want to be. Stop pretending, y'all. The song itself, let's be real. We're rapping a song that's literally making an allegation about pedophilia. Okay, some of us don't like Drake in real life, and some of us think Drake's a problem, and that is real. But the issue that I struggle with, and I still struggle with Kendrick is, but you literally let Kodak Black, who also is sexually assaulting and have had problems with sexual assault and abuse, you gave him, you put him on your album and act like demons and heroes and shit, right? You're the same dude that never speaks out about none of the shit that's going on in your camp with other people that's been doing some shady shit in your camp. So it's almost to me like, did you really care about the issue, or did you just leverage it as an opportunity to weaponize it to capitalize off of a moment in hip hop? And that just never sat with me. Because I don't necessarily see Kendrick as this real defender of women or supporting or stopping sexual abuse or being an advocate against those issues. It's more that you just had a moment to dunk. And the truth of the matter is that so much in hip hop culture and so much within Black cishet masculinity is that there is an interest in teasing and joking about these issues like rape culture, like abuse, but there's actually no true, real, serious investment in actually addressing these issues head on. So they become laughing stocks. They become the butt of the joke, and they don't become anything fucking more. And so there was a sense where you would think, well, is Kendrick going to go further or do something more or do something or say something and be more? No, because it was never about that. It was just to sell records. It was just for him to be popular. It's just for him to do what he wants to do. This man made a whole talk about Kaepernick, standing on the knee, social justice, all this shit, and you're taking your ass to the Super Bowl. And yes, I know Beyonce's going to perform at the NFL too, but we already know what type of time her, Jay-Z, and all of them are on. But it's time, at this point, I'm not protecting nobody. I'm not going to ignore what I can't see. At this point, all of these fucking faves are trash. And in a certain extent, you just got to figure out what you're willing to accept, right? I just feel like when it comes to Kendrick, like with Beyonce, she has her problems. We all know. None of these people are perfect, clearly. But what I'll say about Beyonce, specifically Beyonce, is that at least I know where she stands politically, and that when there's time for her to use her voice on these important issues, she do speak up and she does her thing. I will give her that. My issue with Kendrick is Kendrick doesn't know what he stands for. And that's the same issue with Drake. Drake doesn't stand for shit. And Drake just wants to make money off of it. But Kendrick do the same as well. Y'all just think that the difference between Drake and Kendrick is that Kendrick is actually very talented. Like Kendrick does write compelling lyrics. Kendrick can rap really well. I'm never taking his talent away. But he's no different from Drake when it comes to the level of output on the sincerity of the issues. He perpetuates a certain type of masculinity that is just as toxic as the type of masculinity that Drake presents. They're both problematic and toxic in their own ways, and they both don't stand for anything, and they both are just gross capitalists that want to capitalize off of whatever the perpetuation of that masculinity they want to the masses. So, okay, you went from being a fuckboy man-child to then transitioning to a hotep that doesn't vote and don't care about elections and think you're Israelite. Congratulations, men. You've played yourself. So I don't want to perform. I don't want to play. I'm tired of being in the culture because the culture is fucking compromised. I don't want to get into the, oh my goodness, Kendrick did this. I don't care. Great. He's a rapper. He made a great rapper. He made a great rap album. He made a great rap album. Congratulations. Wonderful. Cute. All right. Moving on. I just think that's where I'm at with it. I won't read too much deep. We're not going to project more on artists that does not give us things to project into. I can project onto Cowboy Carter because Beyonce was very intentional with the way in which she made that album, the craft, the artistry, and also her politics outside of that and what she's spoken on. That's an album to dissect. I'm not going to spend no time dissecting into the pettiness of Kendrick's albums. His albums, his songs, has declined. I actually feel like while his rapping style and technique has been great, I feel like a lot of what he talks about and what he thinks about, I think they've kind of deteriorated. I feel like we're witnessing, and no one wants to admit it, but I said it about Drake, and I'm going to say it about Kendrick. I think we're going to find that he's going to be like a Dave Chappelle. What I mean by that is there was a time when Dave Chappelle was always problematic, but he made his humor that we thought had a more social, conscious, thoughtful tinge. And then it evolved into a mad, bitter man, a black man with a middle-aged crisis. And it became rants, and it became random, out of touch, not reading the room, whines and rants that he thought was philosophical, but it just became a situation where somebody was so high from the sky, they didn't know what the ground looked like anymore. They didn't touch grass, and it showed. That was what happened to Dave Chappelle, and I think that's going to be the fate for Kendrick, unless Kendrick has an epiphany, but I don't think he is, because y'all saw up his ass. The man can never come down from earth to really get down himself with himself. So I just feel like we're in this phase where anything he puts out, you're going to lick the ground and say it's the best thing ever. I remember, the reviews, people are like, oh, I just heard the first songs, but it's an instant classic. Oh, okay. I almost feel like it's like a trend. Like nobody can have any real critical lens on culture anymore. Everything you're supposed to exactly like anything. Like if a person put out something and you like the person, you can't say the person is mediocre or it wasn't that good. You just have to like it or agree with it. And if you don't like it, then you don't get it, is what they'll tell you. They'll tell you, oh, you're missing the deeper. It's like, well, maybe it was good, but maybe it wasn't that good. Or maybe it just wasn't what I needed at the time. Maybe it was the timing of it all. Maybe it wasn't where I was at in my sub-genre mind. Maybe the album will age on me years later. Maybe I'll get it sometime sooner. Maybe it resonates, but it doesn't hit the way I want to hit. I feel like that way with some albums and some artists. There are some things that hit. I'll give you a good example. Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo. I love that song right now. I listen to it and it hits so differently than when I first heard it. I'll give her that. Vampire is a great song. I listen to it now and it just resonates a different way. I just hear it differently. I feel it differently and I really, really like it. And I think it was very, very underrated. It should have gotten more cred. It was an instant number one hit, but I just feel like it was so much other stuff going on that we didn't necessarily pay attention to that song. But Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo, if you go back and listen to it, it's very good for those who I just want to say that. But when I first heard it, I just felt like it was just like, oh, here she goes talking about a boy. But it can mean it has so many different meanings to it, and I really appreciate it. But that's the thing. Sometimes stuff will you get older, you listen to something differently, and it hits differently for you. I think we don't do that enough with music. We're just so busy trying to give something 5 stars instantly, and sometimes it takes time to process. Some stuff instantly hit, but not always. And a lot of stuff don't actually instantly snap. I feel like with Renaissance, when I first heard it, I did like it, but the more and more I listened to it, the more and more it grew, it was just so outstanding. Cowboy Carter does not do that for me. I think Cowboy Carter is a very ambitious project. I think it's a very thoughtful project, but it doesn't do it for me that way. And I don't think it's because of the countryness of it, but I think there is life experiences and things she's going through that is not relevant to me. The song is not speaking to me, but I can appreciate the quality and the depth and how she expresses her message. But some of the songs on the album does not necessarily hit me. There were songs in Renaissance that just the sounds, the acoustics, and some of the lyrics just resonated with me in an instant way that continues to stick with me now. That's just how music works. And I think sometimes people just want these instant shots and they run and they jump into hype and they just feel like they have to act hype like everybody else. And sometimes like, relax. And I think that's what we're realizing. We're in this era where I think things are going to calm the fuck down. And I'm actually a little excited about that. I'm excited that we're starting to de-hype. Because I think we're realizing that there's a facade with the hypeness of things. And I think we as a society are going to de-hype. This is about to be the de-hype era. And now it's time for real, raw people like me to come back. Yes. I'm looking forward to it because I think we want truth. I think we want some facts because the fakeness has been around too long. And I feel like, to a certain extent, we got a precursor with a certain comedian at the beginning of this year. And I think we're getting closer to one in that. Some uncomfortable truths, some real shit, and some people that's going to come and tell you all what really went down and why it went down. We're getting closer and closer to that. Because I think of I look at certain comedians. I mean, not Kevin Hart, let's be clear. But Cat Williams. There was a foreshadowing with Cat Williams. What he said, how he said. I think that there's been a theme this year. That we're in a fight right now in society between those people who really want the truth and people who are afraid of the truth because they've been living a lie for so long. And I think there is an interesting moment in our society where reality is starting to be in our face, whether we want to see it or not. This election was a revelation to all of us to just be in depth with ourselves, in depth, and just really be like, And I think there's no way we can shake past that. Quickly before I wrap up, Love and Hip Hop Miami is back. I just want to say that. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. It is my guilty pleasure. It's my escape TV. Because it's nonsense. And I like that they know they're nonsense. And I can just watch nonsense for an hour and enjoy myself and escape from it without it trying to present itself to be something prestigious. Amara Negra, I don't know what she's doing right now, but she's in it. Trina got a new man. She's married. She reveals this. It's not that young guy she was talking to previously, but she got a new man. But apparently they're saying this new man might be a gold digger, might be an opportunist. So that's giving up red flags. Trick Daddy got some health issues. He got some health issues. I hope he's okay. There's a lot going on this season. Angela White is Black China. Angela White is coming to Miami. And she's on some new, I'm trying to be a good girl. She's been keeping up that appearance. We're going to see if Miami brings out anything out of her. But I'm enjoying what I'm seeing with her thus far. Bobby Lights is back. But he just seems to be out of, I just feel like he just likes to be the court jester of the show. He doesn't really have a storyline. Ever since he first came on the show, he had a storyline. I feel like ever since then, he's been falling out. But, it is what it is. But I've been enjoying what I've been watching thus far. Abbott Elementary comes out next week. It's on a hiatus break. See, these long shows, these series, they just don't give me the weekly consistency. They always take these little breaks and then they come back. But I get it. Network TV. But yeah, that's everything. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving. I will keep y'all posted on how my Thanksgiving go. It is going to be a little bigger than normal, which I'm excited about because I kind of like the idea of having people around and hosting folks and all that jazz. So it's going to be a really nice Thanksgiving. And I'm so happy because we got a lot of food and I am happy that there's a lot of people to help me eat this food. So that I'm excited about. I'm happy that there are going to be people that's going to be at the house to eat the food because I think this year we're going to have, let me see, we're going to have like 7 people over. So that should be nice. We're going to have 7 people. Is it 7 people? Yeah, it's going to be 7 people. Damn. Okay. We got 7 people coming to the house, which is one of my favorite numbers. So we're going to have 7 folks over for Thanksgiving. That's nice. We normally have around 5. But we done moved it up to 7. So it's gonna be a nice flow, a nice vibe, people coming together. I'm loving it. So it's gonna be a good time. So that is everything for this episode. This was a super jam-packed episode, but I had a lot to talk about. But as always, be well and be best. Ernestly Speaking is recorded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. To stay up to date with the latest on the show, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Mr. Ernest Owens. Use the hashtag Ernestly Speaking to tell me what you thought about this episode, and check out my website at ernestowens.com.